These are the moments that inspire the next generation to ride. Capturing a rider at their peak is what makes those moments live on forever. For moto fans, a great video is everything. It's where you see a rider's personality. It's what makes you want to throw a leg over a bike and chase it for yourself. Behind some of the most iconic moments in moto culture was Wes Williams. Taking inspiration from films like The Art of Flight and bringing that vision into motocross, he pushed the culture forward. And over that time, the vision turned into something bigger than just individual projects. Through Vurbmoto, Wes built a constant stream of content, documenting the sport and creating a catalog fans have grown up on.
All my money that I had ever made up to this point, I put into this movie. It was like one of those things I had 60, 70, 80 grand, whatever it was. And I was like, sweet, the packaging's 30, the music's another 60 or 70, all in. I was so confident that this movie, I thought I was gonna make $1 million on this movie.
And that impact is still building. What Wes is working on now might push the sport even further, because when Wes Williams is building something, you know it matters. What if there was a place where I could register my business, build some tiers of sponsorship, and then there'll be people that we will find that we will just give like a full, proper sponsorship with.
March 31st is the kickoff. We're calling it Draft Day. Draft Day for motocross.
Gypsy Gang, welcome Wes back to the podcast. I'm going to interrupt this podcast to bring you a pretty crazy statistic. 70% of people that watch this channel are not subscribed. That does a couple of things. A, that means that you might not be getting served this content the minute that it comes out. And it also just tells YouTube that they're not really worth watching. So if you want to support the podcast, the easiest and quickest, most high impact thing you can do is subscribe to this channel, give this podcast a like, and leave a comment down below to let us know who you would like to see on Gypsy Tales next. We're going to do our best to bring them to you. All right, let's get back to the podcast.
I met a gypsy.
We rolling?
Oh man, you in my ears like this.
You love it?
Yeah. You're normally in my ears, but not this close.
Wes Williams, welcome to Gypsy Tales.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Last time I did this, you were a wee gypsy.
A very small little gypsy, yes.
Wait, we were hardcore into Motospy, just brought Vurbmoto back.
Yeah.
Brent and I were in my Georgia house, yeah. I have no idea what we said that time.
Me neither. It was all about Vurb. But we've been waiting a long time to do this, so.
Yeah, you last year we were cruising out to Elsinore, I think for the first opening ride day, and you're like, let's get you on the pod. And I'm like, I'm not quite ready.
But you are now.
A lot of things were in the works and not in the works, and finally in a good spot to do this.
Got some shit going on. So before we get into all that though, I want to ask you, as a now famous motocross videographer, director, you've shot everybody, you've traveled all over the world doing this. What was the one shoot that changed your life?
Oh my gosh. This isn't the answer anybody's going to think it is, but I can explain why. In 2010, Walters and I wanted to do a Road to Loretta's concept where we followed around a handful of people, and I called Jeremy Millot at Red Bull. And I was like, dude, I think it was $10,000. We'll follow around these 4 or 5 athletes. Brandon Mays, it was Jesse Nelson, Joey, Coop. So anyways, he's like, 10 grand? Yeah, dude, let's see what you can do. And so Walt and I went out there and slayed it, especially for the time. I'm sure if we went back and watched it now, it's probably not that good. But for the time, it was like next level. So anyways, we sent it in, and everybody could not believe what we did, especially for 10 grand. And then they ended up selling it to Fuel, and we got our first TV show on Fuel TV. So we ended up making it into a 22.5-minute show, and then I think we had a 44-minute version too. So it was unbelievable for us. But because of that, everybody at Red Bull saw that, and it led us to get in the Motocross of Nations TV show that you helped with that year. We ended up doing an NBC feature at Catalina, or maybe that was, was that 10 or 09? Either way, it ended up leading to multiple other TV shows were 6-figure price tags. So I went from doing minuscule Red Bull Jams video on MySpace for, I don't know, $1,000 a piece to being able to, they called me like, hey, what do you think about $100,000? And I was like, never even heard that word before. So that in itself was my most life-changing. I'm sure we could talk about individual shoots that were all helped up the ante to some degree, but as far as financially in my career, that is definitely the thing that sent us on another trajectory.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, there is always those moments that come along that end up changing you completely.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest one in terms of like the professional aspect.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there's so many moments through your career, like even when Zaco was in here, and you guys were talking about the time that you went to his place and the first legit person that gets you film. You know, like there's all of these milestones, and at this point, you've done everything.
Yeah.
Like you did the James Stewart Heli shoot video.
Well, I was gonna say that would have been another stepping stone in the career, right? Justin Barcia Platinum, Walt and I starting the Vurb Platinum. So many things with Vurbmoto in itself. No, there was no such thing as amateur motocross news and video same day coverage ever before Vurbmoto in 07. So there's all these little things, and we were getting a lot of eyeballs, but we were like amateur based. So as soon as we started doing some of these pro based content pieces, it opened up a whole nother paradigm of marketing that we were able to get from DC Shoes and Volcom and even Thor, just people that were supporting us at the very beginning. There was no such thing as amateur marketing budgets until we came around. And so we're like, oh, well, we got to start doing pro stuff. So either way, going and doing the James Stewart Heli stuff or Barcia Platinum, all these things, like bringing the pro side into Vurbmoto really helped us just keep etching up.
Yeah. How did the James Stewart Heli shoot come up?
Oh, man, we're reaching into the memory bank
that's
here.
Iconic.
Yep.
That's probably, at least to me, and I feel like I've shot some good projects.
Yep.
That's the best of all time, I think. That's the high watermark of a moto edit, you know?
Matilda.
Actually, Griff, go up to the top and just go to Scarlet. Go down the bottom. Sound. Yep. That should be, now you should be able to play that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Full screen that shit.
Oh, so now we got the music coming through our headphones and not the TV.
Yeah.
Look at you guys, technologically advanced.
This is so iconic, bro. What year was this? 08?
09.
09.
It was between Freestone and High Point. So earlier that year, we had done a heli shoot with Malcolm.
That's right,
and 271. Justin Starling, yep.
Yeah.
At the Stewart compound, it was February. And that was for our movie Epic that we were working on that year. So James saw the edit come out because I think we did an Epic preview, and he said, I want a heli shoot. And so he called Jeremy Malott from Red Bull. Again, another shout out, Jeremy.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, man, I know you guys are driving to High Point right now. What do you think about a detour to Florida? And I was like, for what? James wants to do a heli shoot. And I'm like, guys, get on 20 East, boys.
Yeah.
So I'm sure who knows where we're at. But yeah, we were in a motorhome with myself, David Bulmer, Ryan Walters, Travis Stewart, and we ended up in Haines City, Florida. Again, same, like, I think the first time we ever went there was for the Malcolm thing. So to be there twice in a matter of 6 months. But yes, this changed my career too.
Yeah, dude. This is the one for me, I reckon. I just don't think that motocross has ever looked cooler than this. I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, fuck, this is good. And it's still good as of right now.
We've lost this in motocross, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I would love nothing more to do this kind of stuff. It's just there's zero ROI in it now. And like, you know, unless I went out here and filmed this by myself, this is now a freaking $50,000 shoot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can't, I don't know. I think if I remember correctly, we got $4,000 for this, including gas.
That's so insane. 8 million views.
Hey, for the longest time, this was the 5th most viewed Red Bull video on the platform. We didn't get beat until Felix jumped out of the hot air balloon thing. And then like 7 of Felix's videos pushed us out of the top 10. But
dude, I haven't watched this in so long, and this
Neither
is
have I.
making me so happy.
yeah, I would love, like I said, I would love nothing more to get back to this, and hopefully through the Prospect app that we'll talk about at some point in time on the show, maybe. I would love to get back to doing things like this.
Look at the noise on that bitch.
HVX 200, baby.
Yeah.
Boost that gain to freaking 18 GB. Turn on the lights. I'm pretty sure that's the only time Stu ever used the lights on a Supercross track.
Oh, that's so good.
But it's crazy. Like, we would have showed up with zero plan, zero knowledge. I didn't even know Stu. I knew pretty much everybody else in the paddock because, like, so many of the guys I had worked with in Barcia, Coop, all those guys. Well, I guess Coop was still Am. But either way, there was like this new age of guys coming up that had just turned pro in 08 and 09 that I had great relationships with. But Stu and like Reed, I didn't have relationships with them because I was pretty much predominantly amateur from my start until that point. So Stu was really my first big thing. But think about what this did for all the other pros that saw this. They knew I did it, and then everybody at Red Bull knew I did this. So there's so many things that just send you down the path.
Oh man, yeah. It's just knowing your career and knowing everything and like the start. It's just wild that what you guys achieved, what you guys pioneered. I mean, we could literally spend all 3 hours just talking about the crazy shit that you guys did to just that pushed the boundaries. Like I think about I was working for Stroke magazine in 08 in Australia.
Yep.
For Yariv Konski, and I just saw Vurb and was like, yeah, that's it. That's Australia doesn't have this.
Well, no one did, to be fair.
No. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So I quit.
mxdaily.com.
I started mxdaily.com.au, and it was just my version of Vurb. That's how we connected, because I would start sending you my videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Vurb has so much to do with who I am and what I ended up doing because of
cool, man.
Just the time that, it was 16 years we've been friends now, and it's like out of that idea that you guys had and out of what you guys created, it's like the butterfly effect of what you guys did. Just it's been so massive on the industry.
That's cool. Very cool to hear and very humbling. It's crazy. I mean, as you sit here and you're showing me all kinds of stuff that you're working on and programming and all that, like it's hard. It's sometimes you get so jaded and you've done so many things that you forget sometimes. And I work with Jason Baker a lot, and he's always like, dude, stop and just like, look at what we're doing right now. Like take it in. Cause like you're jaded sometimes and you're just like, let's get through this punch, get through this to-do list. I want to go home.
The deadlines are real. The stress is real. I mean,
they're more than ever now. Back in 09, we shot that. Who knows? No, I probably didn't even have a deadline, but now you got freaking 80-page contracts and money going here, and here, invoices coming in from everybody. It's a different world than it was back then. We used to just be freaking sometimes 7 dudes in a C-class motorhome without a slide out.
Wasted. 90% of the time.
How you sleep in a motorhome with 7 dudes?
Get hammered.
Drink a lot of Coors Light.
Get hammered and sleep outside the motorhome. Yeah, but that's really like when you do look back at it. I mean, I forget so much of the cool shit that I've even done.
Same.
And like, man, even to this day, like for people that are listening, I'm trying to just like, if you really don't know what Wes has done in his career and like the influence that he's had, I still name the folders on my hard drives the exact same way that Wes does, because I learned, like I was able to do some pretty cool shit in production, and I fucking learned it all from working with you guys and with your standard, and how hard you worked is how hard I worked, because I was just like, well, that was my example of what it took to be successful in this industry,
That's really cool. I've always equated this to James and RC. I was never necessarily the fastest or the most flashy or the best, but I've always had the RC mentality. No one will outwork me or figure out more efficient ways to do things. Like, it's not just going out and busting your ass 18 hours a day in the sun.
Yeah.
There's a whole back end to doing it right. And everybody's like, how do you pull clips from 05, 06, 07? It's 20 years of having the correct hierarchy and figuring out how to do things and name things better and figure out how to find things better with metadata, naming conventions, converting files properly, and having literally multiple petabytes of footage at your fingertips, right? So, and Griff, good job. I did notice I gave you guys some footage for the Joe thing. He gave me some footage from, I think, A2, and it came back on my folder or on my hard drive that I gave you guys, and it had the correct... It
just went straight in.
I realized he the way he named the folders, he's like, I figured it out because he gave it to me with some like haphazard shit. I was going to tell him, hey man, you should reconsider how you name some folders. And I didn't ever say anything. He handed them back to me and had the folders with the right naming convention. I'm like, smart boy.
Well, that's because that's how we do it.
Nice.
But we do that because that's what I learned from working with you.
Yeah, it's funny. Even now with everything we do and how much data I have, it's insane. Like I would love nothing more to take the next step of building an insane multi-petabyte server that keeps everything hot 100% of the time and accessible to whether it's you guys or my team or Red Bull. But it's about a $200,000 investment to do what I want to do on the server side. And then especially here in California, it probably cost me $1,500 a month for the power on the damn thing. So baby steps.
Dude, it is gnarly though. Like you have thousands and thousands of gigabytes.
Well, now that you do too. I mean, you guys are 400 shows deep, so
it's ridiculous.
You're into a storage nightmare too.
All right, guys, a quick one before we get back into it. If you ride, race, or even just follow motocross, you already know there's never really been one place that has everything. Your results, lap times, ranking, upcoming races, it's all just kind of scattered. And that's exactly what Vurbmoto is solving with their new Prospect by Vurbmoto app. It's an all-in-one hub for motocross. You've got live timing, past results, your stats, a ranking system that shows how you stack up, plus media and moto news all in one place. They've also got track maps, upcoming events, and a way to follow riders near you. So it's not just data, it's building a real moto community, and this is where it gets interesting. Sponsors are starting to pay attention to this. If you are active on Prospect, consistently racing, putting up results, and building your name, brands are going to see it. Even for us at Gypsy Tales with SOTA Fuel, we're always looking for riders to support. If you want to get free product, discounted product, or help getting to races, get yourself on the Prospect app. You might be our next sponsored rider. All right, back to the show. So what was your background? You didn't have family that raced. You did not come from motocross at all. So that's the other thing that's wild is how you got here from where you started life.
I remember though, my family didn't have anything to do with it, but I remember walking by a dirt bike shop in Tucker, Georgia with my dad. I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 years old and seeing a dirt bike. I remember the first time I saw a dirt bike. And then I went to a family thing one time and I think I got to ride like a mini bike, I think they used to call, like with a Briggs & Stratton motor, and crashed the shit into a tree. Of course, my mom wasn't about it. So then anyways, I was 12, maybe 7th grade for me. Kids in my neighborhood got dirt bikes. Kid up the street got an RT100. My buddy Clint up the street had a KX80. Buddy down the street, Cody, CR80. They, a dirt bike gang formed. And what do I do? Mom, I got to have a dirt bike, please. And my mom's always you got to work for shit, Wes. You don't get anything for nothing in life comes free. So sure enough, for an entire summer, she gave me 1,000 checklist. Here's everything you do. Here's $50, $25. And I don't know, an entire summer of doing all the house chores and things she could think of, $25 at a time, or got, I think, $1,000, went and bought an XR100 and joined the biker gang.
That's living.
So, and after that, dude, after that, my mom got hooked.
Really?
Yeah.
So she liked it as well once you got into it.
I think she saw how much I loved it.
Mm.
I look back, I grew up with my mom. And so I think when you grow up with a mom, she wasn't like a crazy competitive person. She worked hard and did her job really well. I think she was competitive in a work environment, but not necessarily in a sports environment. So like I never really had that. I played baseball and some sports or whatever, but I didn't give one shit. I'm like, cool, man, I'm out in freaking right field, whatever.
Yeah,
balls coming to me. I'm like, why the hell am I here?
Yeah.
Dirt bike, the first time riding and with my buddies, it was like the first time I felt like true purpose.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, I love this. Every day at school, all day, every day, all you can do is think about getting home and riding your dirt bike. And then someone brought over Mini Warriors 2 and like then Steel Roots, and we just keep the shit on repeat. I'd watch Mini Warriors 2, Steel Roots before going to school. Get home, if for some reason I couldn't ride because my mom wasn't home or one of the parents were home, we'd watch the movies. And then can we go ride? Can we go ride? And then we had woods all back behind our house. So we just had the most insane trail loops everywhere. So yeah, we had our freaking biker gang, and that's what we did every single day. And then at some point in my mom was like, let's go racing. And I was like, hell yes.
That's so good.
So
what was your first race bike?
CR80, 1996 CR80.
Oh, that's a great motorcycle.
Big wheel.
Yeah, that's a great motorcycle.
Yeah.
They nailed that.
And so it's funny. I think if 99 or two, no, when was Mike and Jeff were on, Alessi were on CR80s, I think in 01.
Yeah.
But if you go back and like look at all the Varner stickers and FMF and like how they did that, I mean, my bike would have not looked nearly as good, but very similar setup, just freaking stickered out. It's awesome.
And fun fact, you did make it to Loretta's one year.
I did, 2002.
Isn't that crazy
C-class.
that Wes raced Loretta's? 125 C-class. What a fucking savage, bro.
Jimmy Albertson, and then Michael Paglia were in my class. Pretty badass. So it's crazy though. I only did local races. I had no idea what training even was. I remember watching Mini Wars too. That was my standard. I'd see James and Davey and all them on there. Like, I feel like I'm as fast as those dudes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I rail corners like Janie. You don't really know until you know. So like, I remember going to the regional and I was dead set at making it in. So you had to get 7th, and I went 777 at the regional.
No way.
So I was like, and that was like the first time I ever raced six laps. And then my mom was like, you should probably start training. And I don't know, you're 15 or 16 at the time. I could ride 8 laps, Mom. What are you talking about? Loretta's the only 8 laps I got this. It was a different beast, dude. I'd never ridden 20 ruts in a corner. And I remember going through them and there was just choppy braking bumps all the way through. It's 9,000 degrees. Pissed my pants on the line. It was crazy.
Really?
Full on.
No way.
The first moto, I drew 3. So the year before, Stu had lined up all the way on the inside gate and clicked 125A or youth 12 to 15 and whole shot it from the inside. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going Stu, dude. I'm lining up on the inside.
That's fucking
And
mental.
sure enough, like I'm looking down the line, I straight up just pissed myself because I've been drinking
No way.
Too bad soda fuel wasn't around. I was drinking some kind of hydration, something or another, and didn't realize how much it would make me have to pee. So but what do you do?
You're like, fuck it.
The
30 car's
going up,
sideways,
like,
bro.
I got to piss my pants, dude. So I just
Dude.
let it rip. And then I shifted neutral right out of the gate, so it wasn't good. Did not pull a Stu. So I'm pretty sure I was like 30th on the first lap. But either way, I remember thinking like halfway through the race, they give you I was like, holy shit. We're only halfway. I was like, because coming through, I'm like, surely I'm about to get the white flag. Get the halfway mark. And I'm like, my mom was right.
Fuck.
Milk was a bad choice.
So you didn't train at all?
I mean, I went and rode a bunch, but yeah, I didn't train. I didn't know what training was.
Fuck.
So I don't know. Would it have mattered? Who knows? But it was an experience nonetheless, and I'm glad. It wasn't destined to be a pro dirt bike rider, so maybe my aspirations would have continued further had I done better. But I'm glad it didn't because it sent me down the path of realizing probably need to find a different career here.
Fuck. But I mean, it's so cool because how many years in a row have you been to Loretta's now?
Oh shit.
26, 27?
25, 26. I think maybe this year will be my 27th. I've been going since 98.
So what was the year that you raced?
02.
02.
Yeah.
So you went to Loretta's before.
Because of Mini Warriors. Because of Mini Warriors, dude. Like I missed my 7th grade. When you go, because it's always the week before school starts, and so I missed my the 7th grade introduction, whatever. I asked my mom if we go to Loretta's, and my neighbor kid Chris Mano was like, "Hey, dude, all of us wanted to go up there, so we crammed in a little Honda CRV and went and slept in the car. Got to see one day of Loretta's, and I remember, dude, we were pulling in, and Stu was railing the corner on a Super Mini before the finish line, and this back when the 80s didn't really jump the finish line, and Stu hit the finish line double, did a fender kiss, and just bam, and he was the only one doing it, and I just remember being like, oh, shit. But it's so baked into that is a core memory of mine just watching him. And then I watched Michael Essie that same day too. And of course, again, watching him on Mini Warriors, it's just it's unbelievable going from Mini Warriors to seeing them in person. It was that was life-changing to me too, because I love dirt bikes, but I think at that point in time, I realized how much I love dirt bikes. I never even seen a bike that looked like Stu's bike, all just factory kitted out, split. I don't remember. No, the split fire was the 125. But either way, it just seeing bikes at that level. Because even YZ80s back then, there was no such thing as YZ80 big wheel. And I remember at Loretta's, you'd go and see YZ80 big wheels because people would like custom convert and put big wheels on YZs. And I was like, what?
Dude, that's so sick.
So either way, the infatuation started hardcore once we drove through the gates of Loretta Lynn's in 98.
Wow. Have you ever spoke to Davey about all this?
I mean, maybe on the surface, but I mean, how many times does he hear a story like that?
True, yeah.
But,
yeah.
So he might be like, oh, yeah, cool. But, I don't know that I've ever said how much it meant to me. But that's also why my wife is like, why do you care to go every year? And I'm like, you just don't understand.
When are you going to take bricks?
It'd have to be, the problem is I go and still work my ass off. Loretta's to me is still a very much of a boot camp kind of week where I go prove to myself that I still got what it takes.
I still got it, bro.
So it's very hard. Like I would love my family to come because it is a motocross vacation, but I'm still at a point in my career that
you need to grind.
Still need to grind. And I still love the grind. Again, I'm proving to myself that I can still do it. And I usually Loretta's where I take some kind of like technological thing that I learned that year and try to implement it, whether it's servers and uploading or like so many things I've taught you over the past few years of like just workflow and keeping people off site. How can I go there and instead of spending $60,000 to bring in 10 people to help me do all this, keep them at home and we only bring a couple people on site. So yeah, if you go back to like 22, I had a crew of 10 people there. That's by the time you do couple motorhomes, food, flights, rental cars, hotel rooms.
And then you're just babysitting the whole weekend or the whole week.
Yeah. And and it's like, for what? There's no ROI in this, really, outside of tons of eyeballs, but eyeballs don't mean what they used to.
Yeah.
So, it's a weird paradox that we live in right now with the, internet crashing like it is with AI. Website traffic isn't nearly what it used to be. You used to be able to get hundreds of thousands of clicks in a day on your site. Now you're lucky to get that in a month.
Yeah.
Because people are just Googling and getting all of it right there. Why even click through anymore? So, there's been a lot of changes, but that's why efficiency means more now than ever. You got to figure out how to go to Loretta's and only spend $5 or $10 grand versus what you used to spend. Because like Loretta's always been the pinnacle. So if we're going to spend,
we got to invest here.
Yeah. So either way, yeah. I mean, bricks. I would love for them to come, but it'd have to be one of those things. Aubrey comes and she doesn't even want to come to meet with races with me because she just knows like, you're not helping me. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to have to wrangle 2 damn kids riding Stasics. Well, and now you're not even allowed to ride Stasics. So I think my kids would be like, what the hell are we doing here? We can't even ride. Yeah. Because they love riding Stasics. So if I took them to a dirt bike track without Stasics, they would be like, this is bullshit, Dad. Freaking. Yeah. And talk about unhappy kids aren't fun, dude.
So, yeah, at some point, though, you'll do a little father-son trip with him, I'm sure, when he's old enough.
I mean, I got to. I think especially, hopefully in the coming years, I have some friends that have some kiddos, too, and we can make it more of a group thing, and maybe the wives can all come together. And I just don't think it would be fun for my wife to have to go sweat in 100-degree heat at Loretta Lynn's.
Tough to get me back to Loretta's, and I fucking love this shit.
Right. Because you never know what you're going to get. It could be rainy, could be awesome, could be one hell of a mugger hot. So...
Yeah. That's worth also talking about is the fact that you guys, to do what you've done, and probably why it doesn't happen as much these days, and I know at least from our end, like there's so much stuff that I just invest in. Like I'm probably 20 grand into the Joe thing. Like easily, well, probably more than that,
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, not to mention time.
Well, yeah, way more when you add in like the wages that have gone on throughout the whole project.
Yep.
So it's like...
But don't do that because then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like it takes people like yourself and Brent and that OG crew that want to do shit that doesn't make sense for a long time until it kind of does, but you need those people that care that much and are willing to invest real money and real time and real skills because, I mean, all of us, like if we just dipped out and just focused on making money, then we could. Like we've all got skills. We've got you've got $1 million worth of production equipment, but you guys still choose to invest in this space. And I think it's like an underappreciated and maybe just like underknown fact of like how much money you would have spent just to fucking cover Loretta's.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes back to the infatuation and love.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. I mean, there's plenty of things that don't make sense, but from a career standpoint, maybe you invest because you want to know, or even going to Loretta's and trying a new technological piece that we just learned. Like, I always want to grow and learn. And granted, my skill sets have changed throughout the years. I don't necessarily consider myself a shooter and editor anymore, but I still love to do that. So there's plenty of times that I dip into the edit bay and want to go crush out and edit and just be in that mind space. But I also love going NAB and looking at all the new shit and seeing, all right, if I connect this to this to this, I can do this, this, and this, right? So, I want to grow as an entrepreneur and a businessman and a technological component of our sport.
Yeah.
So I love investing. Does it make sense?
Sometimes no.
Sometimes, probably more often than not. But honestly, think about the 20 years that I have done that. If I didn't do that, and now that we're here with the app, all right, we're on the starting line and have a rocket ship because of what we've done. And had I not done all that, it would take years more and probably millions of dollars worth of marketing investment to get the app to where it needs to be, versus now it's almost like turnkey.
And you probably wouldn't even know the problem that you're solving for.
Yeah, maybe not.
So you guys have the Prospect app. Can you bring up, what's the website just so we can show people?
You would have to cast your phone. We don't, you'd have to go to the Apple App Store or
that's right.
Google
Go to Vurb. Just go to Vurb.com. Vurbmoto.com.
I unfortunately do not own Vurb.com.
Yeah. So the Prospect app, do you want to just explain the app and how it works? Because we're probably going to be talking in and out of it with all of the stuff.
It's like, where to even start with this, right? So our mission is simple as it is bold: unite the sport. So the biggest issue is everything in amateur motocross or even pro motocross is siloed. Feld, MX Sports, Winter Ams down in Florida, the Gold Cups out here in California, all the 2X promotion stuff, Harold Martin with Dirty 100 and Springedinger Ponca. All of it is just siloed information. And our whole goal was to defragment everything. Just bring it to one spot and be just this center point of everything, where whether you're a scoring provider, a track, a promoter, AMA, NMA, I don't care who you are, just we want to be the center hub to find everything. So luckily, we've got a great deal with MX Sports. We're the official fan engagement platform of MX Sports now, and Harold Martin with the Dirty 100 just came on board as well. So, we're aggregating so much data now that you used to not be able to find, or maybe you could, but it would take you an hour to find freaking Minios results from 2022.
Yeah.
If you were on the app right now, you'd be able to type in Minios and click 2022, and boom, it's at your fingertips now, without having to search for an hour. No joke. I remember 2 years ago, it was Thanksgiving. I was at my house. I wanted to watch Minios live timing. I went to Vurb, and it was the wrong damn live timing link. I went to Racer X, wrong damn live timing link. So I go to Google, and all the ones that were SEO'd on there were like 2022 and 2023. It took me 45 minutes as Wes as Vurbmoto, 45 minutes to find Minios, our biggest amateur motocross event happening entry-wise, it is the biggest.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a live timing link.
As it was happening.
And I just remember being like, I cannot wait. And we were working on the app at this time, and I was like, I cannot wait till we can solve this problem.
Yeah.
So I think through this, we've just learned that because we're the center point, our business model supports every other business model. We're not trying to be live timing.
Yeah, it's like
scoring.
hub and spoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to have everybody else to be successful, but we can also help everybody else be successful in their own right. So we can, our whole goal is to get more people to ride dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Race dirt bikes, ride dirt bikes. And there's a multitude of ways we incentivize people in-app to do exactly that. So, ideally, we'll set up our own little friend group here, and every race that we do, we go get points. And what's going to happen if I got more points than you?
Yeah. You're going to get some points.
You're going to want to beat me. So, there's tons of things that we're working on, such as that, where you can have a little friend group. So there's rankings, and I'm 168,000th, I think.
What am I? I've got the app. Let me figure it out.
Yeah, look.
Keep going.
You're probably going to be higher than me, because I think I only got some Washougal results in there. I need to ask Chris, our developer, if we can pull in my 2002 Loretta's results. Can we get some archive results in here to boost my standings? But ideally, yeah, we'll make it so. Yeah, I might be 160,000th, but I could be number one in our friend group. So again, just finding all the ways that we can incentivize people to ride dirt bikes. And here we are. We got Griff looking up my my 32nd place at Loretta's here.
I'm on my app.
Let's see what you are.
All right, so how do I find me? Sign in.
No. You don't have. Do you have to sign in?
Nah, maybe not.
Hit a little magnifying glass on the top left.
All right, here we go. All right, riders. I'm searching myself. But yeah, the apps look so good. Murrieta, California. I can follow myself.
Yep. You can follow other riders. We've basically taken all the great things we loved about Strava, MySpace, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Literally every social platform. And we're working on building all the fun things about each one of them into this. And granted, there's a lot of still technological barriers that we're currently working on in our sport. Number one being there's no GPS. So it can't work quite like Strava yet.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of GPS tech coming that we hope to be able to integrate at some point in time. So even down to scoring and results, though, again, all those are siloed with different scoring providers, different promoters and everything. So getting everybody on the same page has definitely been a work of art in itself. But I think our sport's here and we're ready for it.
Dude, so I am 96,000th in the country, which is pretty sick.
Okay.
That's my all-time rank.
Okay.
I've got zero.
Griff says it's pretty accurate.
I've got 0 third place finishes. I've got 0 first place finishes. But I do have 2 second place overall finishes.
Okay.
And I don't know where they would come from.
Well, if you scroll down, it'll show you your most recent results. So if you're not signed in, though, it might not show you.
Bro, I actually did fuck this. Well, I kind of fucked over the World Vets thing because you know how they do the team race at World Vets?
Yep.
So you need a 30 plus, a 40 plus, and a 50 plus.
Okay.
So Maddie did the 30 plus, Azza did the 40 plus, and I did the 50 plus. And I got second. So, and then, so I got 26 points. I went 2-3 for second overall.
Look at that in the plus 50 class.
In the plus 50 class. But dude, this honestly is awesome. Like the fact that I can just look that up. And I mean, even for us, so like when we're researching videos, the fact that there's this platform, there's just so much that can happen because this is here.
Yeah. Well, we even have an announcers tool that we'll give out to announcers at events. So whether you're at Loretta's or that Chicani Loretta Lynn qualifier, Dean Dias was like, hey man, I'd love to be able to, like, is there some kind of tool? I'm like, actually there is. So it goes along with live timing, but you can click Jase McAlpine. It gives you a drop down AI analysis of Jase Alpine based on his race results, how often he races. So you can actually sit there and sound like you know everything about you, even though you might know nothing. So it'll help the broadcasting side of our sport tremendously, especially in the amateur world. Like, of course, in the pro ranks, the 40 dudes that are out there probably pretty good. But I don't know, say there is some.
There would have been some dudes in the World Supercross that one that I didn't know about.
So either way, we have this awesome announcers tool that's not part of the app, but I mean it is, but it isn't. It's
like a back end
part. We're trying to look at all the problems that we feel like we can solve, and I feel like we're doing a very good job of it. And again, it took the better part of the last year and a half to make everybody realize that we're here for the good of the sport. I think everybody keeps like being like, there's a wolf in sheep's clothing here. And we're like, no, like our mission statement is literally to get people to ride dirt bikes and race dirt bikes. Because if that happens,
everyone wins. Yeah.
Someone's going to go buy Yamaha, and then Yamaha's going to be like, oh, hell yeah, we can spend more money in the sport. They're going to come spend it in the sport. And I want them to spend it with you, with us, with Swap, Transworld. I don't care who it is. Rising tide floats all ships. So that's 100% our mentality. And ironically, that's literally been how since we started. Going back to you wanting to send us videos. I didn't care that you were MX Daily. I just always wanted Vurb to be the place to go.
Yeah, and it's a very good point because like I was just a random fucking dude in Australia that literally hit you up on Facebook Messenger.
That's awesome.
And just started having Facebook chats with you, sending
Did you
links.
poke me?
I don't think not in that chat. Maybe in a motorhome. So. But you guys were so receptive to like what I was trying to offer and like gave me a shot essentially,
I think I was never a cool kid in school or anything.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't know, being an all-inclusive, good feeling thing. Because so many people started following in our footsteps and trying to do what we were doing, except they created like this rivalry. And I was like, there's no point in that. I don't want that. Honestly, if you guys want your content on my site, that's great. And it just, I don't know. I've just always been crazy open-minded about having everybody be part of something bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's helped my career.
Yeah.
And even down to production. Like we've done these freaking massive productions now. And because of that, and because I've worked with, whether it was you, Swan, Garth, a million videographers, when we do a imagination and I need 40 people in every work of life, from grips to camera dudes to live programmers, I got a Rolodex of people and I'm able to call everybody and bring everybody in on one epic shoot. So because I've been friends with everybody and kept it that way, it's actually helped us do way bigger things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that Vurb has a track record of, like, you guys created a thing that didn't exist before. You created a thing that was way ahead of its time. And I think that Prospects is like the next version of that. Like this, I've known about it and I've been a part of it for probably like the last 2 years, realistically.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know, this is solving this problem. This is solving this problem. And I think that you're in the same position again that you were with Vurb the first time.
Yeah.
Is that you're doing a thing that a lot of people probably don't understand. On face value, you're probably like, I don't really get it.
So true.
You know, and now you're like, you spent a long time with Vurb convincing people of what was possible and what you guys could do with the product of Vurb. And I think Prospects is another version of that.
It's next lineage of it, yeah. I've always, we always talk about the rat race, and it's something that's hard not to fall into the trap of just doing what everybody else is doing, because media is such a big thing and you need to do what everybody else is doing. But if you want to truly stand out and make real money, you got to go left when everybody else is going right. So I've always looked at my whole career that way of like, all right, if everybody else is doing that, I got to find something hard left and figure out what to do there. And going back to the investment side, there was a lot of times it doesn't make sense to do X, Y, and Z, but you do it just to stand out, which helps you get jobs or get noticed or get more clientele or advertisers, right? So standing out always helped us. Being a sore thumb sometimes is a good thing. So yes, Prospect is definitely dude, we've been dreaming about this for the better part of the last 13 years. I remember I have blueprints of this from 2013. And at that point in time, it just wasn't even possible. Yeah. Even in the past 3 years, what's become possible for much cheaper. I mean, had we done this in 2020 when we wanted to, we're already invested millions in literally our collective life savings. Had we started in 2020, we would have needed 5x that. Yeah. So because of AI and the tools and the development speed and things that you can do now that are just way different that, you probably know on your side of development now that you're a freaking genius. There's just so many things that are possible a lot faster, more efficient. So, the possibility of what's happening is literally, it's the perfect timing, just like Vurb in 07. Technology wasn't really ready for us back then, and we had figured out how to do certain crazy things that helped pioneer. So same thing with this. It's just perfect timing to do exactly what we're doing. And had we had it have actually worked a long time ago, I don't even know that we'd be on the starting line. We wouldn't have made it. We would have drowned. Yeah. So so for people that are listening to the pod, go to the App Store now, download the Prospects app. It's whatever device you are. Yep.
Free to download and just check out what it actually offers at the moment. But what right now, functionality wise, what value is this adding to the people that are going to download this right now? With
all the amateur nationals going on right now, we got Daytona, we got Freestone, we got Spring-a-Ding, Day in the Dirt happening at the same time, World Minis coming up, Cal Classics coming up. Everybody wants to know where live timing is. I would say that's kind of our base right now is live timing. But what's cool is we have enhanced live timing. So you're able to, on resultsmx.com or escore.com, liveviewtiming.com, they all have a good UI for the data, but it doesn't save any of the data in the right way or like lap times and everything. So we're caching all that. So you're able to find it right after your race. So we have an enhanced version. So you go there, and if Jase McAlpine, whoever, is in 7th place. And the reason I say Jase Baker is I was looking at Daytona live timing earlier today, and he was 7th in schoolboy. So anyways, you can click drop down. You're able to see all his lap times. But then what's cool is you're able to then go to his profile, that we have all his results on our side. So now you're able to go to Jase Baker's profile, see all his, his ranking this year, his points he's got this year, all his race results this year. And then if you want to compare him to anybody in his class and see how he's stacking up. So especially on the brand side, you're really able to do some very intelligent scouting and figuring out who you may or may not want to be involved with on a sponsorship level even. So, but even as a fan, as a parent, as a grandparent, as a kid themselves, there's just so much data that is now all in one place that it's never existed before. So,
Yeah, even like a granddad whose kid's racing and he's not at his race, he can literally open up his app, find his kid, grandson, and watch him race.
So like Reegan, for example, I was at Loretta Lynn Air Qualifier a couple weeks ago at Mesquite. He's a fast-ass kid, and he won Super Mini a few years back, but he's got 6 styles. So anyways, on the app, you can follow someone. So I followed him, testing the functionality of my own thing. So now I'm getting updates about him and seeing exactly where he's at. And in my feed, it's literally letting me know, hey, Reegan just finished whatever in 250B.
That's so sick.
Now you're able to follow kids all around the country, and it's just like a Facebook feed. You're able to choose who you want to follow, and then instead of having to go to 8 different websites, cool, man, all your friends right here, I can see exactly what everybody did today on a feed. It's pretty unbelievable, honestly. Like, as we've developed this, there's things that have just been happening that I'm like, I just can't believe this is real. So, I don't know. Pretty much every day I wake up, and it's like, hey, we figured out how to connect this, and this. I'm just like, I never thought this was going to be possible.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a crazy thing to kind of bring to the industry, just something that's like never been around before. Well,
what's cool is we did a whole presentation in front of the industry at A2. Thanks, Kerry, Joe, and Davey, and Tim for letting us do that. And, we have case studies from F1, Ironman. Ironman's probably the coolest. It's a massive participation sport just like ours. But as soon as they created a technological backbone that was tracking data and all this, their participation more than tripled year over year. So the statistics are astounding when you start incentivizing racers or participation people to do things. So as soon as me and you start having a little internal rivalry, it's all it's going to take is I want more points than you, dude. And that just means maybe I'll race twice this year. But guess what? It's 2 more times than I would have.
Yeah.
And if you can do that across thousands of racers, we're currently tracking nearly 200,000 profiles. So think about that. Like the Gypsy 500 was a perfect example of this. I hadn't raced in how long? Yeah. I didn't own a bike. I didn't own gear. But because you convinced me as a friend to come and battle you, I went out and bought a bike. I went and bought gear. I went and bought a stand, gas can. I went and raced. I went and literally spent, $14,000 so I could go try to beat you at this race.
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
I was like waiting for that, but like the whole time that you were saying that, I'm like, just hurry up and finish so I can tell you that you lost.
You guys had factory setup, all right? You guys had...
We had stock Starks, bro. That's how good those bikes are.
I didn't even change the oil on my brand new YZ250F, so I don't want to hear it. You had a mechanic charging your bike.
We did.
Greasing your oil.
We did.
Greasing your oil, greasing your chain.
Yeah.
Washing your bikes in between. Like, you had someone taking care of you. I don't even think I showed up with water. I remember Vicky Golden being like, hey, you want one of these energy bar things? And I was like, yes, please.
Dude. I stole that shit.
So
either way, no, you're right. It's a very good, like actual real case.
There's so many people that go off to college or school because they try to make Lorettas and they get 16th place and then they just kind of ride off the sport in this sense, even if they ride it off for 6 years. So it's kind of like looking at everything holistically. Being like, how do we keep the kid that just didn't make Lorettas decides to go to college? How can we make sure he races a couple times next year? Bring back that whole grassroots local racing, because without local racing and grassroots, our whole sport doesn't thrive. So, we need to support the tracks and promoters first and foremost, and then it's a trickle up from there, because everybody benefits if someone like me goes and buys a dirt bike.
Have you ever really thought about hydration? I bet you haven't, but I have, and that's why I am on a mission to hydrate action sports with my new company, SOTA Fuel. You can look at any study. Hydration is one of the key factors in human performance. And action sports is about as high performance as it gets, and there are extreme consequences to not being locked in. Find out more about how important hydration is for you and if you're leaving performance on the table by heading to sotafuel.com. And I think the other cool thing with this as well is, so this is like the reality of business in this world and in this industry. And I can use my own business as this case study, right? So like the 100 hours with Joe video, probably 30 G's. Let's just call it 30 G's just to go and produce that.
Yeah,
right?
and just to give people an awareness there, that's cost. That's Gypsy doing it for how much he could do it for.
Cost me.
Cost you. If he were to hire that out, that is probably a 6-figure project, easy.
Oh, easily.
Just to make sure everybody understands.
So I have wanted to do those projects since 8 years ago when I started the podcast.
Yep.
But guess why I couldn't? I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So, and then you do it and you put it out. The Cole was a perfect example, right? You put it out, it's fucking got 700,000 views, 250,000 hours of watch
which is
time.
astounding, by the way.
In like this like current day YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And so then people are like, dude, you got to do more of these. And it's like, this cost so much money. Like I have 4 full-time staff.
Yeah.
That get paid every single week. Like there is so much that has to go on in the background just to like break even.
Yep.
And then to have a surplus of money that you can go and dump and just to get back to even just to make this cool thing that everyone wants to see. So all of this is to say that like it's so hard to make it in this sport, and it's so hard to get the kind of money to do those high level things. And so kind of goes back to Vurb, right? There was like this heyday of Vurb where the business was making a ton of money. Websites were still a thing. You had all the production stuff from Red Bull come in that let you get all of this equipment.
Yeah.
So like there's this like perfect storm
100%.
of things that happened to get a Justin Barcia Platinum.
Yeah.
Which is one of the coolest things that's ever happened in the sport. But as soon as like the revenue goes away and the back, like you just don't have the freedom because no one's paying you to do those projects. Anything that's like the coolest moto thing that you've ever seen, someone has to pay for that to happen. And so I guess what I'm sort of trying to say is like, I think that this Prospect app has the potential to make you guys the kind of money to where the platinums come back and the like cool shit. It gives you the money to go and do the things that you actually really want to do, because I want to do the Joe thing. Like to me, that's the shit that gets me out of bed is like, how can I just make the dopest shit that I would want to watch, that I want to watch as a fan, that no one else is going to make it if I don't make it.
Yeah. So, much like you, every step we've taken over the past 5 years, that money has gone into being able to invest more and more into this app and getting us to the starting line, much less past the starting line. Like getting off the starting line is a whole other thing. So, you know, I would love nothing more right now than to go do that, or even go do more 100 hours with you. Like we talk about, let's go do this and this and this. I can't wait until that day comes. But right now it's like axe to the grind every single day, trying to get to the damn starting line with where we're at with the app. Cause like, again, collective life savings of multiple people in our business making this happen. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I can't deviate my focus until we get to a place that does that. But I can't wait until the day that it is making enough money where we do have the surplus, where I want to go back to the Volcom and DC Shoes 08, 09 days where they used to go make snowboard movies literally as a marketing expense. Like, cool, let's go pull out 200-300 G's and go to Alaska and rent helicopters and dope-ass filmers and go do these projects because it's a marketing expense. Ideally, I'd love to be able to do that. We used to be 7 dudes in a motorhome that all work for pennies and peanut butter and jelly. It's a lot different world now. Like as soon as you get car payments, house payments, kids, you can't cruise around in a motorhome with 7 dudes anymore making maybe $100 a day at best.
Yeah.
So you know, even in the heyday of Vurb, like, yeah, the business might have been making a lot of money. We were all still making pennies, but it's because we were reinvesting so much into it, into going it back into a product, or cool, let's go to Loretta's, or let's go do this, that, or the other. So yeah, I mean, it's a constant state of investment, but I think that's any business.
Yeah.
Like if you want to thrive
Any
and get
good
to
business.
any good business, like there's probably people a lot smarter than us that have done it a lot better, more efficient. But you know, we work in dirt bikes. I a lot of times when I feel mad or like angst about something happening, I'm like, dude, still get to go to the dirt bike track whenever I want and film dirt bikes, and then still
And it'd be a valid excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still work around my best friends. Like that's what I love about what we do the most is from 07 till now, our core crew, whether it's you, Danny, Stu, Jason Crane, Brent, Jase, it's still like the same core crew that we've always had, which I think speaks to who we are as people.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're all still best friends and we all still love to work together. And that's why even, hey, let's go do 100 hours thing. Sweet. I'm the first one to sign up. Because I just want, like, I love going to a Supercross and hanging out with you boys and eating Raising Cane's afterwards. So we've got our own little culture here that's great. Yeah, a lot of times it might not make sense, but I think that's why it does make sense, because it's awesome.
Yeah. But it just takes guys like you, and it takes guys like, I'll put myself in that category, that are just willing to grind to make money to then spend the money back in the place that, you know.
Look how many people haven't made it. It's, unfortunately, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. And, you know, I don't know, there's plenty of times that accountants call us and say, this is the most idiotic thing you've ever done.
You're like, yep.
Yeah, but I love it.
Yeah, you just bought a $50,000 camera. Why did you do that?
Well, that's what's, dude, it's so funny. I was at your house the other day, pulled out the red Gemini, but then at my house, I have my red Epic M, and someone was over the other day, and maybe it wasn't you guys, but anyways, I remember it was $58,000 for that
I remember
camera.
when you bought it.
Yeah.
I remember the day you bought it.
Literally paid cash for it in 2010. How did I have 58 grand? I don't freaking know. But I had to buy that and a lens and a couple other accessories. I think it was like $70,000 just cash. And at that point in time in my life, young 20s, I could have gone and bought a house, a car,
we
watch.
should have spent money so much differently.
Instead, I went and bought a red, which was great. I mean,
literally one of the best things you ever did, though.
Right. Look at what it did to my career.
Yeah.
Like after that, I mean, you ended up getting one with Jay, and we ended up doing Dream Ride, which it brings another good point. We used to do these things without caring the world for music and copyrights and all kinds of shit. I'm not a place in life anymore that I'm willing to do that either. So in order for us to go do a cool platinum when we want cool music, now if I want that cool song, like a song alone's 10, 20 G's just to put on YouTube. And then you got to pay someone probably another few $1,000s to go license it for you. It's not like the old Wild West that we used to live in where it's just like, oh yeah, go rip, what song do we use on Dream Ride?
Oh,
that techno song.
Yeah, fucking that Promises or whatever. Skrillex fucking
so
thing. Yeah, dubstep, bro.
sick.
Fuck. Why? That's funny.
And even like, dude, we had phantom cameras hanging out at the side of the helicopter. Yeah, I think someone was dumb enough to pay for that, but it was awesome.
Bro, we wrapped it.
Yep.
Wrapped the fucking helicopter.
Well, and even your buddy going out there and building the track for weeks on end, like paying for fuel and the tractors. And
oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, we're so lucky that we come up in the era that we did. I was actually talking to Jay on the phone. I was driving home from golf the other day, and I just spoke to Jay for like an hour and a half. And we were just talking about like how ahead of the time we were. Yeah, like look at this shit. Yeah, this is it.
you know what though? In a world
14 years ago.
God, oh my God. Oh my God. When we used to carry around heavy ass jibs with freaking 60 pounds of counterweight along with reds and lenses, like no wonder my back hurts so bad these days.
Yeah. I remember every shot of this.
So sick. So
whip shot.
I think though, this brings up a good point. No one's doing this kind of stuff, and I really think it hurts kids that are coming up now because they know how to make really cool 30-second videos, but learning how to do storytelling or TV shows or this kind of stuff, it's a whole other skill set I think they're not learning.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives me job security in a lot of sense. Like, someone has a lot of money to spend on a production. There's really no one else to call in our space anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm normally the one that gets the phone calls now. So it's tough. I want to encourage kids to go do this, but it takes a lot of grind, and a lot of money to go do. I mean, obviously this is a anomaly. I don't mean a dream ride, but even a platinum.
Yeah.
Walt and I, when we decided to do that, we just went out to Barona Oaks with Jase and Chris Aldridge and Matt Bisceglia, I think. So, but it's taken that, hey, we got a vision, let's go do it. And look at what Walt's done now too, man. It's crazy that me and him pretty much grew up together doing this. And he was even on the Stu Heli shoot. So, it's crazy. He kind of forked and does all the monster stuff, and I forked and started doing all the Red Bull stuff. So.
Yeah. It's true though. Like that's been one of the big things with these boys that work here and getting them. So like I hired them off Instagram bangers.
Yeah.
And it's like 30 seconds, a minute.
Yeah.
Dope as fuck footage, sick edit.
They have the basics. You
can use whatever music you want,
Yeah.
and then you post it, and then they share it. But it's like for the Joe 100 hours thing. So that was for Cole. None of the boys were in the country, so I used Danny Stew for the filming. So that wasn't like 100% in-house. Then you did the Colorado stuff. So that was like a broad project with a bunch of people. But the Joe thing was like 100% in-house, us, and the boys filmed it, edited, sound, music, the whole graphics, the whole thing. Then there's the rollout plan. Then there's booking this. Then there's booking the theater, and then there's doing the sponsors to get the mannequins and to get the bikes. Like to do that versus Instagram bangers, it's just
different world.
So far apart.
Yeah,
it's like playing half court in Venice Beach with your mates versus playing Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Really is.
It's so far apart, and I think that the distance you have to cover in between that is just like years and years of work and like having an open mind and I don't know how many kids are willing to put themselves through that level of and like the discipline and the accountability to pull those projects off,
It's very true, especially in a world now that it's not like the production work is what it was even in the past 5 years. It's not as readily available as it was. So even if you were to invest the time and effort to know how to do point A to point B,
things,
is there going to be payoff? I don't know. There's still room for it. But again, we're in a place where someone's probably saying, hey, who can do this? And they probably say the Vurbmoto dudes are most uniquely qualified in that space if you want someone in that space. Now, don't get me wrong, in the worldview, a lot of people can build a TV show, but especially in our sport, you want intricate knowledge of
specific knowledge.
And even knowing the riders, like say Motospy, if Box to Box had to come in and done Motospy, could they have done it? Hell yeah, they could have. I think it would have been a different product than Motospy just because our relationships with the athletes and what you're able to get out of them because you know them have that relationship.
1,000,000%.
So, but even going back to when you asked me about the pinnacle moment or the what changed my career, that TV show, like me having to deliver that thing that we built at Loretta's. All right, I didn't know a TV show was 22.5 minutes. Yeah. And you had to do 4 commercial breaks.
I thought it was 30.
I didn't know how to do all the sound mix and color spec,
separate channels,
all crazy amount of shit. All right, so I figured it out then to whatever degree I did. And then I remember Red Bull calling and saying, hey, we're going to do this Motocross of Nations TV show. Will you look over this tech packet and just tell us if you're capable of doing this? I look at it, I'm like, this is Chinese. I have no damn idea. Yeah, man, looks easy. We'll handle this. You just say yes and figure it out. And I mean, of course, they probably knew better. They probably knew that I was going to be an idiot on half of it. But because of that, they definitely helped me figure out a few things, which helped me do the next thing. And then the next, in 2012, we ended up doing a live as TV show, Red Bull Signature Series NBC. We did Road to Loretta's concurrently with like a 9-episode rollout for YouTube for Red Bull. The next year, we were fully live on NBC, and granted, Bondo and the whole TV crew are the ones that did the live piece of that, but we did 48 minutes of programming and a 2-hour TV show for it. So, it's just the echelon of a career, being able to say, all right, you just learn these little things that all add up to very big things. So, yeah, to go back to '09 at a James Stewart Heli shoot when I didn't know how to build a TV show to now, there is a huge gap.
Oh, insane, bro.
And then that doesn't even account for all the marketing side of it and the rollout. Like that's a whole other job. So yeah, to do things right now, I mean, it's an unconquerable mountain probably to go from an Instagram thing to a full-blown TV show rollout. But I don't know, if someone really wants to make it in our sport or the space of just production in general, like knowing and figuring those things out is key.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be an Instabanger kid forever.
Yeah, and it's just like there's like a dime a dozen. Again, you're where everybody else is, you know.
Which is fine until you want to have kids and car payments and house payments, and then you're like, all right, I can't keep going to like. It's the equivalent of I used to go to races in a box van with my buddies to film, I don't know, TMT and do an event recap there. Track wasn't paying me. We'd just go and drink beers and have a great time, but I'd sell DVDs. I don't know, hopefully sell $300 worth of DVDs on the weekend to have gas to literally just go to the next place. I think that's what a lot of kids just are that passionate that are still doing it.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, it has to start making sense. So you got to definitely you got to figure out how to start being in the black versus just break even or in the red all the time.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Just like some of the shit that we've done over the years too, filming wise, like I'm just in my head like, what stuff should we even talk about in this? Because there is just so much shit. But probably like, I mean, 2010 Motocross of Nations was just like one of the best weekends of my year. I feel like if I had to look back at something that changed my life, that was a weekend.
That's cool.
That fully changed my life. So I don't know if I've ever told the story fully, but I basically, so Kelso from Rockstar, you probably know this story, but Kelso from Rockstar, he's now owns Drink Weird. Him and Sammy were running Rockstar in Australia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was over in Australia 24/7 getting Rockstar Australia off the ground.
Yeah.
Sammy was his guy on the ground. And me and Sammy were the two fucking losers. That's like, no one knew. We just started going to all the nationals at the exact same time. I started working for Stroke.
Yep.
And then he was working for Rockstar and fucking GoPro and whatever. We didn't know anyone, but we knew each other. We came together. So that's how our friendship started, is because we were like the lowest dudes in the Australian industry, right? And so we would just roll with Kelso. That was like our fucking meal ticket, bro. Like Kelso would pay for all the dinners. Like, so we would be.
I forgot my wallet.
Yeah, I was in that world, right? And then Matt Moss made the Motocross of Nations team as the Rockstar. He was sponsored by Rockstar Suzuki.
Yep.
So I told Kelso that if you pay for my tickets to the US, that's it. Just flights. It was like $1,100.
Okay.
If you pay for my tickets, I'll film Matt Moss at Motocross of Nations.
Okay.
That was my only plan. That was it. I reckon I would have had probably $1,500 in my bank account.
Okay.
And then I fucking flew to LAX. And my only plan was to get to Parla on press day and figure it out. And I stayed at Bilko's place the first night, or the first 2 nights maybe. And then he was like, dude, my mum's coming. Like, I need the spare room. Like, I just fucking showed up on Bilko's doorstep. I was like, I need a place to stay for a couple
How did you
nights.
get from LA to there?
Kristen Beat
Okay, I remember that, yep.
So KB picked me up from the airport, took me to Parla press day.
That's right. I remember she dropped you off at Paula press day.
I stayed at Bilko's for Thursday night, Friday night, and then the Saturday night after the race, I stayed at Walt's.
Yep.
And then I stayed at Walt's.
I remember calling Walt and being like, hey, dude, I got this Australian dude. Do you mind if he stays for a few nights? And I'm pretty sure I'd done the same thing with Swanee.
Yeah.
Same with me,
and Berriman.
And Berriman.
So, and then like, this is how crazy the world is and like the fucking universe and how shit works out. So Walt's dad had just retired and bought the Canyon Lake house.
Yep.
But it was empty.
Yep.
So right as I rock up,
Yep.
me and Walt literally spent like the first night in this house sleeping in mattresses on the floor.
I was there too, yep.
There was a pool table.
Yep.
And there was just mattresses. There was no couches. There was nothing. And we were just like eating pizza, putting fucking bulk pizza boxes out on the on the pool table.
With laptops.
Yeah, and just grinding. So then from there, I was filming I just became a Vurb filmer.
Well, you
weekend.
did the Paula Select that weekend.
Yeah,
I think the
that's
250
right.
and the 450.
Dude, find that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then, shout out to Don Walters, though. Full incubator status.
Legit. It was like a Silicon Valley incubator for dirt bike filming.
For years, dude, because that was 2010. We'd been doing this at Walt's house since 2008. And so they lived in Yorba Linda before that. And, dude, there was times that he let us park the Vurb motorhome there for months on end in, like, a nice high-end neighborhood. And, like, I'm sure his neighbors were like, what the hell's happening?
Fuck?
So, but, yeah, they let us full on come in and out.
This is me.
As much.
I forgot that I did this. Oh, I shot all this shit on a 5D, bro.
No, I think you had the EX.
No, yeah, but remember I had the 5D for all that, like, close-up, like, depth of field.
Oh, right, yeah,
shit?
we all 7D.
No, I had a 5D for this trip. I know it 100%.
Okay, 09, the 7D came out. So, yeah, maybe the 5D came out the 2010.
But, yeah, how crazy is this, bro?
Yeah.
I forgot that I even shot this, but now I remember.
I don't want to pretend like my memory's this good. I look at archive footage enough on my hard drives to, I think last year when we were going through, I was making Motocross of Nations throwback content, and I remember coming across this, and I was like, oh, shit, I forgot Jase did this.
Yeah, fuck that. I forgot I did this. But, yeah, so that whole time is just, like, so I went from, can you turn that down for a second? I went from... yeah, not knowing you guys apart from some Facebook messages.
Yeah.
To then like, I'll just film just so I've got a place to stay.
Yeah.
And then I ended up just like filming for Vurb for basically 2 months. 2 weeks after that, I don't even know how the fuck I got to Motocross of Nations. How did we fly? I have no idea. I end up at Motocross of Nations.
We definitely flew because I think we missed our flight on the way home.
I fully can't remember. Like, that's gone. Those days are gone. But I remember we filmed there. And then I went from just like not knowing anyone, never going to America. I'd been in America for a week. And then like a week later, I'm calling my mum, hey, I'm filming for a Red Bull TV show for NBC in Colorado.
Yep.
And then one of the craziest parts of all of it is Rockstar, they booked my flights. But the chick, do you remember she booked my flights for 2 months instead of 2 weeks? So I fucking thought I was going to America for 2 weeks. Had probably $1,500. And then it was 2 months. So I had no money. I couldn't afford to change the flight. So I was just stuck in America. And I lived with Walt for the whole 2 months.
I remember.
And then I went back. And as soon as I got back to Australia, I was like, I'm going back to America.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Matt, Walt, and Don, dude. The Walters family, massive shout out. Yeah, Matt cooked a steak every damn night, and rice and steak.
Yeah.
Way better than peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
And Don just like let us all stay there rent free for just years.
Dude, so cool.
Yeah. And then I just between all of us, the creativity, like Walt was the night owl. So I feel like we'd go shoot and then Walt would edit at night and just like you'd wake up and Walt would be like, what you think of the edit, dog? And you're like, oh my God, dude. It was a damn good time. Full on Silicon Valley style.
Yeah. And
it's
just,
cool.
We partied so hard, dude. Like that was the other fun.
That's probably why my memory doesn't work so good.
100%, dude. I was fucking wasted and I don't even drink now. Like I look at that and I'm like, who were you, bro? Like, but 20 in America, fucking chicks were loving the accent. That was back in the era of after parties. Like, bro, I was unhinged for that entire time.
It was a fun time. I don't know how it was possible, but it was apparently. But yeah, whether it was Minio's, Loretta's, A1, just full send. And then next day you just wake up and do it again. I remember Jason Crane always tells the story. There was, we went to a national or something. I don't remember what race it would have been. Anyways, we went back to Missouri where he lives, Quincy, Illinois, I guess. And so he lived there. And anyways, we went out and partied all night. And apparently I was in the bathroom on the floor naked, throwing up. And his dad heard me and was like, oh my God, dude, are you all right? And I just ended up sleeping on the floor in the bathroom. And then he said he got up to go to work at 5 a.m. and I was up at the computer already crushing out the edit. And so they always tell me the story to this day. I'm like, that's what we used to do. I mean, you'd wake up from throwing up on the floor in the bathroom naked, I guess, to just, well, I'm up. Might as well just go start editing.
Dude, Motocross Nations, that was almost your last ever Red Bull gig. That's how much
Partially because of you.
Yeah.
Partially because of Bulmer.
That's how much we partied at Motocross Nations. Like, dude, and the edit, like you guys did the recap video, everything went up. This motorhome was 4 computers, 4 guys at computers, and then 5 guys with girls and alcohol. And like, dude, stealing bottles of alcohol from the Red Bull up. We were like 30 feet away from where the after party was happening at the track. And it was just like an absolute convoy of people coming in and out. And then you guys were just crushing edits, dude. And Red Bull was not stoked.
Well, they weren't stoked because Bulmer had partied a little bit too hard. Bulmer wasn't on the edit team. Bulmer was outside on the wheel of the motorhome throwing up on himself in the Red Bull area. The Red Bull didn't
Where
like
all the Red Bull bosses were.
Red Bull didn't like that look. So I remember he was throwing up on himself. And so then we moved him to the other side of the motorhome so he wasn't inside the motorhome. That didn't go along well either because he was still in the Red Bull area and people were still walking along the side of the fence. So this dude's throwing up on himself. Wasn't a good look. I thought we were making the right call. But anyways, I remember if we weren't in there editing right then and there to get some VNR out for the news or whatever it was we were doing, probably would have been kicked out and never worked for Red Bull again. So I remember we moved him inside to the motorhome bathroom where he ends up just throwing up all over the inside.
Where we
bathroom,
locked him inside.
Where we locked him inside. He wasn't allowed to leave. So yeah, then we finished it up, and yeah, Bulmer almost got us fired. I definitely have photos of him just with throwing up all over himself.
But it's crazy. Like, I guess my point in saying all of this is like those days, like everything about that experience that we went through in that period of time is just done.
Yeah.
For like so many reasons.
I couldn't do it again. I look back at it though, and I'm like, I don't know how it was possible.
Yeah.
20 years old or not, dude. I just don't understand how, especially with technology then.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was possible. And then, like, it was a 20-year-old spirit of being able to sleep 3 hours and just be like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And
And the time as well, and this is why it kind of couldn't happen today, is because there was no social media then. Like, this was I think Instagram was like 2012 or something, you know? So it's like, there just wasn't, Instagram changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed the whole media landscape, and for the better in some ways and for the worse. Like, we gained things and we lost things.
100%.
But we came up in the pre-social media era, and it was all about high production quality.
Yep.
Awesome cameras,
Not
amazing soundtrack.
Not necessarily how fast you could get something out.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a way, like, quality was huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, I showed Griff The Art of Flight the other night.
Wait.
He'd never seen it.
Stop it.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, this was like the high watermark for all of us.
Okay.
All of us that were filming back then looked at this film and was like, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And we would just spend so much money and so much time.
Do
Dude,
it a fraction of good as good.
Well, remember that 600mm lens I used to carry, like, just to get these crazy shots that like no one else could get.
Again, no wonder we had back problems. Yeah, so even before that, that's it. That's all came out in 08.
Yep.
Set the precedent for production quality and soundtrack. Even they did this whole book that they released for the DVD.
So we grew up in this time. We got influenced by these people.
Yeah.
And then the Red came out. So that was another seismic shift because, I mean, before the Red, I had the EX1.
Yep.
Which is just, it's a fucking iPhone and a full, like, Canon R1, you know?
Yep.
So leaps and bounds.
Honda Civic
better.
versus a Ferrari.
Yeah, literally.
Yep.
And so, like, we were lucky enough to be in that era.
Yeah.
You know, you dropped 70 grand on
Yeah.
one. I ended up getting one like after that. And I mean, dude, we were rolling around with 2 fucking Reds.
Which is unheard of. And at young 20s,
back in the day, it just
Pretty
wasn't.
cool.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. And so then Instagram hadn't diluted things yet. So big.
Well,
projects,
Instagram came out at the end of 2010, if I remember correctly, and like you couldn't even do video on it. It
No,
was like
I don't think it was.
You could only take photos and add filters at that time. So yeah, I don't think you could do video till like 12 or 13 even.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was none of this. We were quick turn, but quick turn at that point in time was just the next morning. Now Instagram is how fast you can get up a clip
Right now. Yeah. And then now, so like I'm just gonna go on my media rant. But now, there's the product is so, and this is not I'm not having a shot at anybody. This is not in any way a negative thing. But now, instead of, okay, we've got, we take, 30 grand worth of camera equipment to every Supercross race.
Yeah.
And then I have a guy that's an amazing cinematographer that pulls focus manually and just like fucking crushes. And then there's dudes with iPhones that post the shot that you got like that second. And it just, so the meaning of doing things properly and doing things well and doing things beautifully and doing things cinematically, like the thing that people say they want is ruined
Right.
by the iPhone clip that, and it's like, it's the press conference thing. Like, why we're not doing the press conferences in the way that we used to is because
so many people beat you to
they
it already.
fucked it. Like they took a thing that was our philosophy is we like to do things different and we like to do things better. And if we can't tick those boxes, then we don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's a hard line in the sand that we have as a business is like, this is our identity.
Yep.
And now things get diluted to the point where you see people like us be like, yeah, fuck, we're just not doing it.
It's hard for me to want to spend $3,000 to go to a race knowing that everybody with an iPhone is going to beat me. And again, I think that's good. When I'm a fan sitting at home,
you watch it.
I watch it. I love it. I'm glad that I can watch Adam and Ticknap's freaking hot lap of Ken Roxon. I sit there and watch the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
But I can't go to a race and compete with that.
Yeah.
I want to go because of the standard and image and quality that I want. I am the dude that's going to film it on a camera, go dump the footage, go freaking keyframe the shit out of it, make it look good. But by that point in time, Adam's clip already has freaking 1 million views and mine's going to get nothing.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to justify sometimes, especially now that you got kids and wife and justify the time away sometimes for what? 500,000 Instagram views at best.
That don't pay anything.
That don't pay anything. Or I can, that same amount of time, I can go to a production job on a weekend and come home and not have a worry in the world.
Yeah.
So, I even with Supercross, I've said, hey, I would love to do some bigger and broader things like a Red Bull Moto Spy. Like Red Bull's not investing in that anymore. But like, what if I did?
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah.
We could still do it. We are the same crew that did it. We just had their funding. At some point in time, could we do something like that? Because then I think it makes sense. Jeremy at Red Bull, again, hey, he always said, everybody always knows the race results, but they don't know what Cooper Webb or Eli Tomac's saying in between motos or heats. Like you get those story beats that no one else does see. That's what people are watching it for. And that's what we excelled at getting because we could be in Cooper Webb's motorhome.
Because you've known him since he was 12.
Without kicking us out, right? We can be in these super special moments that are priceless. Championship battle of 21 or 20, 21 when we were there between Cooper and Eli in the COVID year when we were all in Salt Lake City, that was 2020, 7 races in a row, right? And I remember Alden Baker being like, hey man, like this is a tense moment. We need you to leave. And I was like, nah, man, this is where I'm supposed to be. And he goes, fair play, dude. And so
really?
I got to film this, it was the second or third race that Tomac beat Coop and he was fuming in the, so anyways, we get these moments that no one else is getting. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I have the desire to do. That's the product I want to create. And if I'm got to do the same thing as everybody else is limited to 15-second Instagram clips of practice, I'm like, it's hard for me to justify.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, it's like conversations I've had. Like what I'm saying now is like I've literally had this conversation with Supercross, and it's just like our industry is different in that like you pay your expenses to go to the races. I pay my expenses to go to the races, and we're running a business that's incredibly difficult to make money as it is.
Yeah.
And so
inherently very expensive.
And yeah, very expensive to do. And it's like, I mean, we went over some numbers before. Like, what's the most valuable thing that I could do with my time?
Yes.
Sit in this chair and not fucking leave.
Yep.
And it's like when you have, there's no financial incentive. There's no like, they're just, it becomes very, very difficult to justify investing the way that you want to or need to. And it's just a product of the sport, you know?
And that's not trashing them at all.
No.
They're doing what's protecting their product, and I would make the same decision if I was based in that same position. So, yeah, if they give us the ability to do something no one else is allowed to do, what everybody else is going to do, they're going to want to do the same things. And my opinion to that is cool. Let them
try.
Let them try it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, our sport, if we want to elevate, going back to instead of creating Instagram bangers, incentivize people to learn the next steps of storytelling and let us do some 3 to 5 minute pieces or 10-minute pieces that might make it mainstream. Because can you imagine doing Motospy this year right now?
Bro.
Like if they incentivized at any level to allow someone to follow an Eli Tomac or Ken Roxon put out these longer story driven pieces, I think who knows where it goes, but
well, look at the Cole thing.
Yeah, good point.
It's like literally just that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that, the Joe thing. You know, there is, and I think it's like, yeah, you got to have the people that can do the thing and like let them cook and help them make it possible. But as of right now, like it's just everyone, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Figure out what you got to do to make it work so that you can be here on the weekend and fucking happy days.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I guarantee if we wanted to do something like that, especially with our firepower, I could call all the field filmers, Tom, Jay, like everybody in there, get everybody's footage. I bet everybody would just want to be part of it. And we could do what used to cost $100,000 an episode. Not to say that we could do it for insanely, you still got to pay for a lot of things, but you could do it for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I don't know. Let me take on that onus of like, all right, if he wants to go to give us a freaking $100,000 product on a monthly basis, go let the dude cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It would be sweet if there was something that allowed us to propel that thinking, but you know, I don't know. I don't have the answers. Like I know there's TV rights and they pay a lot of money for those TV rights. So why would you
hey, let's put it on Peacock.
I mean, that would be a dream. That would be a dream. I would love nothing more.
My Joe project, put it on Peacock.
Yeah.
Let people watch it.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, we need great shoulder content. I definitely
don't have any.
That would help grow our sport a lot. So, you know, I'd love to do it. I think there's people in our sport that would love to be involved in it. It's just, you know, letting the guard down enough. But I will say this. I applaud Supercross in doing what they do now. I remember back in 2009 when we did start, there was no filming allowed, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely got better.
We would show up and they wouldn't even let us in. Like they would tell us yes and then not even let us in.
Dude, I used to fucking sneak into the tunnel. Like I would make sure that I had like, bro, when I was JDR, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't want a bar of me in 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I used to put my camera, tripod, camera bag, be on the phone and just fucking pin it, dude. Like straight down the tunnel and the security. And I'd be like, dude, I'm on the phone. And I'd like just send it through. And then I'd be on the floor filming practice until they kicked me off.
Yep.
And then I'd like, I was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But that's like, we were hustling to try and just do anything we could to try and get some momentum and prove ourselves that like what we were doing was worthwhile.
Well, I think they're a massive corporation, and I think anything takes years and years, whether you're Red Bull, Monster, Feld. When you're that big, it takes years to implement change and different ideas and thinking because like the flagpole is massive at a big company, right? So to see where it was in 2011 to here we are, I mean, sure, 15 years later, but they now do encourage the amount of media that they do, and they let so many people on the floor now, so many people in the stands to film in the media holds. So it's gotten 1,000% better.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bet they're just gaining trust in what isn't happening. And as a company, I'm sure they're probably saying, all right, like, what can we do next? So, I mean, I do applaud them on how far they've come. It's just, I think me and you, the guys that want to push the boundaries, can't.
Yeah.
At least without getting our hands slapped. So I think that's where we now have trepidation. Like, all right, if I could push the boundaries a little bit and not get my hands slapped, I'd probably be a little bit more incentivized to go do it. But like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah, and it's also like for us to go and do it, that we have to be able to make money because we're not a $1 billion company.
Yeah,
we're just trying every month to make our overhead, which is a fucking massive number. Like people would be surprised what I have to spend every month, you know? And it's like to do that is very tough and it's stressful. And again, life, wife, kids, you've got all these externals and it's like at some point, you know, it just gets really hard to where you're just like, fuck it. I'll just literally put out 8 podcasts a month, cash the checks, and we know, like I can invest in other sports that are bigger, that can pay me more money, you know? Like I had a little convo with Davey. It was actually, I fucking love Davey, by the way. He's always been so cool to me.
He's my mentor since day one, so agreed.
He cops way too hard of a time for how actual good of
He's
a
a very
fucking
good dude.
that he is. He came up to me at A1 and he like knew about my situation that I was going through last year, gave me a big hug, Kerry Joe, same thing. And they were like, man, so stoked that you're back. We're lucky to have you. And then he referenced like a pod that I did with someone. Maybe it was, I don't know, like it was someone out of the sport.
Yeah.
And he was like, please don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, please don't start doing too much other shit. So, and it's like, it was cool to like hear it.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, dude, that's the reality. Like that is the reality is like, we'll leave. We'll go somewhere. Like there's a place where this becomes way more worthwhile.
Right.
And bigger ceiling, like if you don't, there's a certain point where it's like, if you don't work with us, you're working against us in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Well, you and I are both non-complacent people. You could sit here and do 8 shows a month and be,
that's not
man, cool.
Yeah, it's not what I enjoy.
You want more than that. Like it's not just about the views or the metrics or the money.
That's what I'm saying. I don't enjoy to just coast.
Yeah.
I enjoy fucking sending
Complacency is a killer, dude. And honestly, it's probably it's the main reason Vurb went away the first time around. I'm just not a complacent person. And it was like
and it got complacent.
And it got complacent in a sense. And I'm just like, this isn't me. Like, and look what I did after that. I was like, I'm ready for TV shows and taking a production to a whole nother point in my life. But yeah, coming full circle here, like that's what we want to do. I could sit here and just run Vurb day to day. We could have done our Vurb shred tours and I could have made plenty enough money for me and my crew. And we could have just been like, cool, we're just going to cruise like this forever. But like, what fun is that?
Yeah.
Like I want to spend every single dollar I'm making to do the next thing.
Yeah. 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 It's the process is what is addicting. And like, you know, all the people would just look
I agree.
People would look at what I do day to day. Like for the last 2 weeks.
They'll probably be like, why?
Yeah. The last 2 weeks I've been staying up till 3 a.m. every morning fucking coding.
Yeah.
All new like systems and databases and shit for us.
And by the way, it is impressive, guys.
But it's like
he's not lying.
But it's so that I can work better and smarter and the team and we can do more and we can like that to me is so much fun and like that's what is worth it to me. Like it's what gets me out of bed. Like I could follow a formula, I could stick to the thing, I could make X amount of money but it's like I just don't want to do that. And I love having the sport. So there's a way to like, you can be selfish in life and you can just chase a thing. Like I've got plenty of friends, especially the time I spent in Dubai, that are rich as fuck. Like making $700,000 a month. I got a friend that told me the other day that he made $15 million on Boxing Day, on Black Friday. Like there's a way.
Unfathomable.
Bro, literally. We were chatting the other day and I'm like, are you fucking serious? He's like, yeah, dude, we just crushed it. And so it's like they'll make probably 30 million for the year, but in one day or like one weekend of Black Friday sales, made $15 million.
Insane. So
like there's a way that people like me and you could just go hardcore into just making money. But it's a pretty hollow existence. And like even those friends that I talk to, they will tell me that they are jealous of my life. I don't have that much money. I'm nowhere in that position. Like we're so far apart on like the money standpoint, but they've got all the money and they don't have fulfillment.
Yeah.
They grind and grind and grind at this business that they don't really care about, that is not fulfilling in any way. And they look at what I do and they're like, yeah, dude, but look at the fucking lifestyle. Like, you've got this cool brand and this cool pot. You do this cool thing. And it's like that, I think the secret there is I don't focus on me or the money. I focus on the sport. You can focus on making something else better, and in turn, it will make you better as a person and as a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's like the real underlying drive. And you're the same as that. Fucking Jeremy, bro. Jeremy is that guy. The reason why Red Bull has been so incredibly successful in this space, given the like how much money they invest and everything that they do, is because of his vision.
Yeah.
And he cares. He
About the
cares
sport.
so much about the sport.
Yeah.
I was talking to him this morning and he's like, I'm doing this for this, MotoGP. And he's like, got his idea. He's like, I need you to link me with this person because I'm doing this. And it's a fucking awesome idea.
Yeah.
Why is he doing it? He just cares about the sport.
Akrapovic, I will say this, best built muffler for the money.
I've never owned one in my life. They fuck those things.
Dude, $1,600, dude.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, you will. You'll do it.
Damn you, Chris Kiefer. They've got one. This part fits your ride. 1,300 with shipping. All right, let's go. So now we hurry up and wait. Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, already.
That's unbelievable. That happened so fast. Because this order was over $79, it qualified for free shipping. And Kiefer was right. This might be the most well-built exhaust I've ever seen. And we wasted no time fitting it to my YZ450. The way the exhaust mounts on Yamahas is unique, but really simple. And in about 20 minutes, we have transformed the look, the sound, and the engine characteristics of this 450. All that's left to do is hit the track. As usual, Kiefer was right. The Acro took the power of the Yami and put it in all the right places. It was smooth off the bottom, but still meaty, and I loved the new exhaust note. To transform your next ride, hit the link in the description and head to motorsport.com. And right now, if you head to motorsport.com/win, you can enter their ultimate ride sweepstakes and win a YZ450F of your own. So I will say one thing though, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing Supercross. So when I went to the UFC,
Yeah.
there's literally zero media access.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
You literally go in
Yeah.
and you sit in a press conference room that has probably 30 tables, it's probably 30 rows back of tables. And you've got a microphone and then you put your laptop there, it's got your fucking name, and you just sit there all day. Then there's a special, you get escorted up to this above the nosebleeds and you watch the fights.
No.
Yeah, dude. The cage is blocked by the fucking screen and the lights. It's so, you basically watch it. So it's not for the media experience, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then you go down and then they walk the fighters in and then you get however many minutes with the press conference.
Yep.
And then they leave.
Yep.
So Supercross, this isn't to say that Supercross sucks and Supercross does it a terrible way. They don't. And we're all incredibly lucky for the access that we do have. But it's also we probably pick up the slack that the UFC just does internally. So the UFC probably spends more on their own content, and their own social media, and their own promotion, and their own. We as the media do so much of the promo for Supercross.
Right.
We do millions and millions and millions and millions of views for Supercross.
I would love to know the stat.
I can fucking tell you.
Well, I mean, I know for Gypsy, but imagine
all
in
of
totality.
us. Yeah.
It'd probably be insane.
Dude,
Because like MXA does some crazy numbers.
Yep.
Transworld does some crazy numbers. Swap us, you guys, like especially
Johnny
on
Hopper does crazy numbers.
Yeah. Dude, it'd be badass. Yeah. Again, I come from, I remember what it used to be.
Yeah.
And to what it is now is night and day. I'm very thankful that we're allowed to do what we're allowed to do. But I also was the guy that got to do Motospy.
Yeah.
So I got to see the best case scenario. I got to see the worst case scenario. And like, I'm stuck in this, like in between.
Middle ground, yeah.
You know, so it's almost like I'm in purgatory of media creation. So yeah, I mean, dude, Josh Mosman crushes freaking MXA content at the race, but he's sitting there in the stands with the iPhone, and I'm sitting there with the real camera, and I'm like, what? This is idiotic of me, not him.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I can't justify going to a race and just bringing an iPhone either. So I don't know. That's us wanting to push the boundaries and do something and not be complacent. And I don't have the answer for it. You know, yes, I'm thankful that we're allowed to do what we're allowed to do.
Bring back the press conference so I can cook. That's what I've got to say. I don't like the new press conference.
Then here's what we're gonna do. The app takes off. Gypsy's gonna get $1 million monster gig 2. We're gonna combine forces, and we're gonna convince that we're gonna have our own press conference. We're gonna have our own film crew, and we're gonna have a Gypsy, Vurbmoto, Motospy, something another, and we'll just start making our own TV show. Because at that point in time, just like,
Yeah,
I mean, why not,
go.
dude?
Let's
It'll
go.
be like, hey, instead of putting $1 million in our pockets, let's spend it on content, dude.
Let's do what we've always done and waste it on content.
Hey, it's so funny. Like, you know, of course you sit here and pipe dream and you daydream. Like we've done well, and like I'm very grateful for the life and living I've made in this sport. But of course, there's the whole next echelon of money that you could make. And you know, you sit here and all right, well, what if this works, and this works, and then you're really cooking with gas. And you know, my wife Aubrey is, you know, what would you want to, like, say you do just make a shitload of money somehow. I just want to do what I'm doing right now, but cooler.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
it.
Yeah,
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't care about cars and watches, houses. I don't really give a shit. I want to do that's all. I want to go get a helicopter to film a helicopter to film Justin Barcia Platinum 2.0. Like, that's like literally what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool. I think as the app does start doing well and doing what I know it's going to do, and people see us reinvesting back into the culture and doing stuff, whether it's 100 hours with you or just a Barcia Platinum 2.0, I think people are going to get behind the app just because they're like, those dudes are legit.
Those dudes are core as fuck.
And then hopefully even Supercross might notice at that point in time, be like, all right, boys, just come up in here and do this shit. We'll let you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, all pipe dreams, but that's where my brain's at.
I've been feeling like I was going to make the big money like every year. This is the year, bro. This is the year. This is the year.
If I tell my wife that one more time,
Yeah.
probably getting a divorce.
But you know, you are right though, because it's like I probably wouldn't do anything different.
No.
I would.
You'd hire more people to do more
a lot
of it.
would change around me that would make it way easier to where I just come in and sit down
Right.
and talk and then leave.
Yeah.
And then everything's done. All the SOPs are hit.
Yeah.
All the boxes are ticked. Like
Yep.
there's a sponsor on every app.
Yeah.
That would change.
Yeah.
But in terms, like,
I
I
agree.
I love where I live. I got bikes in the shed. I got mountain bikes. I drive a F-150. Never thought that'd happen. And I fucking got a cool wife. So I'm chilling. I don't need a crazy amount more to be happy, I avoid trying to think that I would be.
I would go riding with you way more. I'd mountain bike way more. I'd ideally open up about 3 hours a day
Yeah.
that I could actually spend on myself.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part. Like being married with kids, you have this balance that, you know, you got to prioritize wife and life and business. And I think I'm in this hard spot right now in life where, unfortunately, my personal side is what sacrifices the most. Even yesterday, hey dude, come on a mountain bike.
That's one place where me and you are different. As similar as we are, and as I'll find out. I'll find out. But as similar as we are, but I feel like always, like I've always been the kind of guy, like even before you had kids and I was trying to get you to play golf every day, and like
maybe so.
I've always been the person, and I've probably stunted my business growth as a result of this. But I will always go for a ride. I'll always do jiu-jitsu. I just can't. I fucking struggle. Like I know that if I don't do those things, I get weird. and I get dark. And like even playing guitar, you know, like playing guitar is kind of that. Like I have some things I have to just be able to do. And I noticed journaling as well over the last, like I went from reading every morning to writing every morning.
That's cool.
Probably like 3 years ago. And so now every single day I write a full page. And when you don't even have to read it back. You just notice the shit that you write about. And I always write about, oh, I fucking did jiu-jitsu today. I feel so much better. I haven't done jiu-jitsu in 3 days. Oh man, I went riding. I haven't rode in a week. Holy fuck, I didn't realize how much I needed the ride. And like even a mountain bike, we'll do the same trails. You send it, you get your adrenaline, you're out of your mind. Yep. And then I go back home and we're driving for the mountain bike trails, and I'm just like,
that dopamine.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like that to me, I've always tried to tell you, I'm like, if you just take the hit, take the hour, the hours you'll gain on the other side of it. But
believe me, I preach it internally.
I know.
It is hard when you're the one where all the weight is harnessed.
But that's the same for me.
Yeah, well, now it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as you're growing more and more now in the business side of things and wife and life and everything else, like you realize how much it compounds.
Oh, yeah.
And the one place you can lose is that one sliver of yourself. So it just becomes like decreasing, right? So, I mean, believe me, I definitely know that at some point in time, I got to get my life back as a person, but I also need to get my life back with my wife too. Yeah. And my son and daughter are 3 and 5 now. So I'm finally getting to the other side of it. Like, you know, young kids, I had 4 years of hell. So now it's awesome. My kids love to go ride Stasics. I can go out and ride with them on my mountain bike. Me and Bricks can go ride now. And like, I can take them to the track. And, you know, life is going to become a lot different. But yeah, personal life, especially with the ambitions that I still have on the work front. It's a very tough balance.
Yeah. But I've always just thought, it's like the hour you give to yourself, you'll make 5.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree.
It's fucking hard though. It is hard.
Believe me, I if there's one thing I look at your crew and I'm envious about is the fun that you guys get to have together, because you kind of work as an edit crew and you know, you're head honcho, and I love y'all's dynamic and just how much you're ribbing each other. Oh God.
Did you tell him?
Oh shit! Sorry to let that one slip, guys. But either way, like I look at that and I'm envious. Like I have a very tight knit crew, but we are just so and like literally pissing a minute ago, I was like walking through this office. I can't wait until we're at a place where I'm going to be like, let's have a Gypsy Vurb off in San Clemente, and like my life will change then when I can go in there and have just a group fun dynamic again, because we used to have it in Greenville or
San Clemente house,
Waltz, like
the San Clemente house here.
Yeah, when you can go play ping pong in between, like, man, I just need a little mind break. Go play ping pong or go for a rip. It's just so much easier when you have the people around you and the dynamic to do it, because the more layers you add in between that, the harder it is to do. Yeah. Like even the 10-minute commute to come down to yours, and then another 10-minute commute to go do this, and then doing it, or even going out to Paula. Like, cool, and now we're out there. Then you got to wash the bike, clean the bike, do all that. It's like, you know, it's a whole lot easier to say no to shit than it is to say yes to shit.
Yeah, I know. But I've spent my life fucking just making sure that I fucking need to go for a quick little lap.
No doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
Let's have some SOTA fuel, and then we'll talk about another part of the app.
Talking about rubbing, I might as well get some gypsy in me.
Yeah, get some gypsy juice in you, bro. So you've been stealing my SOTA fuel for months now, and I always tell you don't take the gypsy juice, because that's the one that I
love the most. Yeah,
that I like the most.
Well, let's backtrack. You had to go back to Australia in July. So as soon as I moved back down here last summer, you left me. You convinced me to come here.
Yeah, I made Wes move to San Clemente.
Hey, why don't you spend 4x a month more than you were to come down here, think about all the mountain biking we can do? And that's literally what it was. There was this moment that we went mountain biking after A2 last year. And you're like, this could be your life. And I'm like, damn, dude. And so after Paula National last year, I just called my wife and I was like, let's just do it. We're going to move to SoCal. And then you moved. You left. You came over and said goodbye like the day I moved in, I think.
Pretty much. It was like 2 weeks later.
Yeah. So either way, I kind of came down, watered your plants a handful of times, restarted your server, that kind of stuff. So every time I'd come down there, I'd bring in your mail, and you always had these SOTA fuel boxes. And I was like, hey man, I feel like payment for this. I know I should have charged you money for sure, but instead I was like, I want to be properly hydrated. I
need electrolytes, bro.
So at least I opened up your boxes. I knew you told me that you like the Gypsy Juice, and so do I the most. Well, I like all of them, so I'm not going to say just this one. But either way, yes, you had multiple boxes sitting there, and you were gone for like 6 months. So I pretty much
just took all the cherry.
All of them. And it's like, when you add it up, I think it's like $30 a month. So I don't know. I was like saving $30 a month after I decided to spend significantly more on my house and insurance and everything. Good trade.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for letting me steal it.
But you don't normally get to drink the Gypsy Juice because that's the one that I hoard.
Well, I'm going to take this after we leave.
No, let's go stay in the studio, bro. No, I've got something for you. But so there's another thing that you guys are doing in the app, which we're going to partner on you guys with from the jump. So there is a sponsorship component of this. So essentially, who do we sponsor? So we're SOTA Fuel, where we want to start supporting the young amateur motocross races, but like, I don't know, I'm not going to every national.
Yep.
What if there was a place where I could register my business, build some tiers of sponsorship, and you make some things like, all right, we want a good social media following, we want someone that's going to be able to post for us, and we don't necessarily want the fastest kid, but I just want the kid that's racing every single weekend. So how do I find that kid? Well, we are on Prospect.
Yep.
And we're registered, so SOTA Fuel. So starting, I don't know when exactly.
March 31st is the kickoff.
So starting March 31st.
Of our sponsorship zone. We're calling it Draft Day. Draft Day for motocross.
So this will come out right before that. So that's good timing.
Very cool.
So
yeah, if you're listening to this right now, get on the app and you get sponsored by SOTA Fuel.
Yeah. So we're doing a thing where there's going to be different tiers of sponsorship.
Yep.
So if you want to get sponsored by SOTA Fuel, then you can by being on the Prospect app, and we're going to be picking people. So we'll probably just set tiers, and if you meet a certain criteria, then you're instantly going to get X amount off. So there'll be like maybe a 10%, 20%, 30%.
Yep.
And then there'll be people that we will find that we will just give like a full, proper sponsorship with. I'll try and help out with some other stuff, as well as hydration. But so that's another cool thing that you guys are doing.
Means
money, gear, or whatever you need.
Helmets.
Yeah, whatever you need, bro.
Yeah, so I don't think we properly explained this before, but we're automatically propagating all these statistics and results. That's why you're in there. You didn't go set that up. If you've raced and that race has gone through trackside or any live view, my laps, any kind of the systems in our sport, eScore, fast laps, all these people's data comes into the app, right? So if you've raced, that data's in there. Now, granted, if it's a local race that they're hand scoring and isn't going into trackside, there's a few other scoring providers that we're working on to get involved as well. And if you are a track or a promoter that's using a different scoring system outside of trackside, we'd love to have the results. We just got to work on some relationships there with the scoring providers. But all this information's automatically propagated. So if you go race, your score increases. So you as SOTA Fuel now can set your 10% tier can differentiate between a 20% tier, 30% tier, or a full factory ride based on someone's race analytics, again, incentivizing people to race, and a scoring calculator. So you can, as a brand, you'll be able to use the Prospect scouting tool to set, like, I want someone 50% social, 50% racing, and our algorithm automatically calculates how valuable someone is based on the metrics that you're setting. It's pretty unbelievable. So some brands might only care about race results, and it's pretty crazy to see the difference when you slide our little scale, when you only care about 100% race results, and then you slide it all the way left to just caring about social. There's going to be some brands that are like, I only care about social. And the cool thing is you'll be able to, like 65 riders, a Super Mini, 125, you'll be able to differentiate all these different classes, all the different states, even down to the city they live in.
Well, so for example, we want to sponsor a kid, boy, girl, I don't care how old they are. I want to sponsor a kid with SOTA Fuel that race every weekend. They're in Cali, so we can help with some content and getting some photos and whatever. And I actually have the relationship. I don't know who that kid is. I got zero idea, but through this platform, I'm going to be able to have a very good idea of somebody.
Yep.
I'm going to be able to look at their Instagram. I'm going to be able to see, like who's the kid that's racing every single weekend in California that we can help, that does big races, that's trying to do this thing properly,
So we looked at this yesterday, so I'm already prepared with this. So our 2026 rankings, Reegan Heighton, she's number 1 in the app right now for 2026. She's got 10,308 points, which means she's been racing
every single weekend.
Every damn weekend. Now, this is strictly race results. This isn't, no one on the front end in the user experience can see what their social scores are, but a brand can. So what's cool now, we can do this drop down. You want someone in California. Well, guess what? Reegan Heighton is still number 1 in California. Mavis Alessi, Connor Berglund, Ace Verkamp, and Brock Barber, top 5 in California right now.
So it's just all right there.
All right there, dude. So you can figure, like, in the back-end tools that you have to be able to discover all this and then dive into it way deeper than just an athlete themselves can. So it's pretty crazy with data and aggregating all that data and the statistics that we're able to calculate because of it. It's going to be mind-boggling as we continue to develop this into what it's already unbelievable, but
well, as people start using it more, it just becomes its own thing.
Oh yeah,
Well,
it's funny. Like we've heard through the grapevine. I don't know Reegan specifically, but I've heard that there's a whole algorithm that you can read what races are worth what and class multipliers and how all the scoring works. She's been hitting the races that she knows are going to get the most points for her in the app.
Does she have an Instagram account?
Oh, I'm sure.
We should try. What's her name?
Reegan Heighton, Hei. So she's at Daytona or Spring-a-Ding right now. I know she was in Texas last week.
Don't worry about it.
She's from Wildomar, California.
Wildomar. So what's her name?
Reegan, Reagan.
Reagan. Yep.
Heighton, Hei.
Oh, there she is. What a legend. Yeah, so she's got 39,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
That's actually insane.
So yeah, you'd be able to see that on the brand side.
Yeah. Dude, she does. Yeah, she's
so
crushing.
Look, if we go to her profile in the app, she's ranked all-time 273. 2026 ranking, she's I guess it says number 2 right now, and then 2025 ranking, she ended up 130th. 129 first place finishes. Way more than you.
What a savage. Dude, I love that.
So, but look, you can even come down here, see prestigious wins like featured events, all our featured event wins, 2020, 2025, 2021. So like, and on any of these, you can click into it and see.
That's so sick.
What it is and who, like, cool. Jaden Smart won the 51 5 to 6 class at AMA Arizona Open MX Championship that year. So it's just crazy the rabbit hole that you can go on this. Our average user time on app is 40 minutes.
Damn.
That means people are going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
That's Instagram level retention.
Yeah.
So
fuck, that's
I'm pretty
wild.
proud of the stats.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, and I think like as it just keeps going and going, it will become more useful as the more it has like a network effect.
Oh yeah.
So it's like every node you add to the network.
Well, as people get in there and claim their profiles, add brands to their profiles, add their photos and everything, and actually start following, it's once it becomes utilized across the sport, whether you're an announcer or a rider or a track, then that's when it's like ultimate utility, because hopefully tracks start using it at some point in time to post updates. Because like right now, if you go use Facebook or Instagram,
dude,
you can't. You're going to reach this amount of people. But guess what? If you follow Fox Raceway on there, and you want to see their updates instead of going to Instagram or Twitter or Facebook,
Give me that.
You don't know. You'll be able to go to the app and Fox says, hey, it rained last night, but we're still opening at 10 a.m.
What's the wind at Glen Helen right now? Because that dictates whether or not I'm going.
Well, and like, in theory, you could look that up no matter what. But like as a track,
but just make it easy.
We want them to utilize it and say, hey, it's crazy windy today. It'll be dusty. And you're like, cool, I can make the decision to go there or not.
Yeah.
But have the track be the one that comes and gives the updates on the platform, because they know they're reaching 100% of their followers versus Instagram and Facebook. I mean, you're lucky if you reach a fraction of them. So
that's actually such a good point too.
Yeah, we're not going to do the whole algorithm have to pay to play in those scenarios anyways. So if you're a track and you want riders, if someone follows you, they'll get your update. And in fact, we'll do push notifications as well. Hey, Glen Helen just said that they're not opening until 2:00 today.
Yeah.
Or gates open at 2 for the mini monsters this weekend. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things, again, just centralizing all the data, trying to make it so people can find what the hell they're looking for.
Yeah.
Whether it's a race order, a race schedule, the dates, results, rankings, all in one spot.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing that it's taken this long to do that.
Well, it's not easy.
It's definitely not easy.
Someone had to do it.
And it ain't cheap either.
Yeah.
So it's really fun though. I've gone from creator and video guy to very much, I mean, I don't know, I guess I've always considered myself an entrepreneur, but I'm much more so now. My day-to-day is very much business development and so many calls after calls after calls. And like, especially right now, just jumping through the hoops of the amount of politics of talking to this person. But if like, I literally feel like freaking a president. Well, if we do this, this affects this, that affects this. And then you got to work down the pipeline and see the pros and cons of each, then come right back to the beginning and kind of do it all again. And then, you break one piece of this unity that someone has because someone doesn't want to do this, that, or the other, or someone has a different idea, or like Clayton at Freestone right now starting the NMA versus the AMA. And, we don't care about any of that. We're the friend group in the middle. We want to help support people ride dirt bikes. And that's all we care about. So making sure that.
Yeah, because data doesn't lie. Data doesn't take sides. Data's just data.
Yeah. Our mission statement is to get people to ride dirt bikes. And so as long as the answer is, does it get someone to ride a dirt bike? I don't care if you're Jimmy Joe's Crab Shack wanting to get into motocross. If you're going to get 3 more people to ride, I'm going to support it.
Yeah.
So you might have nothing. You might be a fishing boat. I'll be like, cool, man, come on in.
Come on, bro. We got room for
Bubble
you.
gum.
It's raining, so y'all got a jet ski? You can play. I want to say a massive congratulations to the team at Fist Handwear because starting right now, Fist is proud to be officially distributed in the US through a partnership with Parts Unlimited, bringing their gloves to riders all across the US. That means it is easier than ever to get your hands in a pair, no matter where you are. I've been banging on about how amazing Fist gloves are for the last 10 years, and now it's easier than ever for US riders to get a pair of their own. If you've heard me talk about them on the podcast before, but never tried a pair of your own, now there's no excuse. No matter what you ride, motocross, BMX, road, or even on the job, Fist has a glove designed for every condition, from blazing heat to icy cold. Apart from being the best performing gloves in the world, they also have a design for any flavor, from wild prints and bold graphics to collabs with some of the world's best athletes. And it doesn't just stop at gloves. Fist has moto socks, tees, hoodies, and hats, the full kit and caboodle. I've trusted Fist for over a decade and I don't plan on changing. Do yourself a favor, join the Fist army today at fisthandwear.co or head in to your local dealer and tell them that they need to start stocking Fist. How's that gypsy juice, mate? Now that you're on the good shit.
Hey, you know what?
Are you savoring that? Because that's your last time for a while.
I didn't want to have to pee my pants. Because last time I drank on the starting line, I peed my pants. That whole story again. So, it's actually really good. And you didn't have to tell me to only pour half. I've heard you say that to enough people. But I don't listen to you because at home, I normally,
I guess it's like personal preference, but I just don't want someone because we don't have sugar. Mm-hmm. Like when you drink other brands, they're so sweet and it's so like, this is not that. It's like a little bit sour. It's got a different flavor. And I think that if someone's never tried it before and they just pour they're going to think that they're drinking a fucking lemon and salt drink and not have the right experience. But if you get the ratio right,
that's good.
Then
normally I do like the 24-ounce Yeti.
Yeah, so then you put a full one in there.
Put a full one in there and last me a good minute. But yeah, either way, it still tastes great. You just made me think though, how you guys do a full box. And then like, I know when you order online, you can do the variety pack and pick which 3 you want. You should have a box where it has a variety in the box. Because that way, if I don't end up ordering 3 or I'm out,
do that.
That way every day, because like I do go on, I've had the cherry for the past month. And then before that, I had the orange And then before that, what's the other flavor? There's one more.
Lemon and lime.
So
bring out the website, Griff. Let's just double check.
So either way, it made me think like how cool would it like. Not that I'm over the cherry, I really like it. But if I was able to every day get a different flavor, if I did, or it's probably all right if you order a variety box.
Yeah.
And then you could do that. But if you're out, like say you burn through it, what if every box was a variety box?
Yeah, we should do a variety pack. I know we do the subscriptions. The subscription's the move though, because then you basically just get one a day. Every day, and that's pretty much what.
Well,
what
I can tell you
drink.
since I've been stealing them from you,
You've been drinking one a day?
Hell yeah, I have. And like it's crazy. I mean, I see your shorts and shit. Hydration's key, Wes, whatever. It speaks to me. So I was like, you know what? I am going to start drinking one every day. And you're the one that got me on this Garmin watch years ago. I don't know if I love you or hate you for it, but whole nother rabbit hole. But it's crazy now as I'm almost turning 40 years old, how much small things affect so much in your life as far as sleep and anxiety and stress and all the components. So I remember a few months ago hearing you say that, and like I had been drinking them, but I realized I was like, I'm going to experiment, see what happens if I don't drink one or whatever, and then I do. And it's crazy what I've noticed in my sleep score when I stay consistent with it. Like hydration is everything. You didn't lie to me. I know Rob Beams told me that years ago when I did the BC bike race. Hydration is everything, and it seems idiotic not to believe someone when they're telling you that, but
dude,
I believe Jase of all people.
Well, the thing is the Garmin.
Yeah.
Dude, when you've got, obviously like, people are like, oh, you can't put all of your thinking into the numbers and this and that. But like, dude, it's clear as day. And when you start seeing like your HRV starts tanking, you get sick.
Yeah.
Like the only times I get sick, my HRV is low. If I know, like there's sometimes if I do jiu-jitsu at night, I'll sweat so much in a night that I would have to drink a gallon of water before I go to bed, and then I'm pissed. Like it's like
3 times that night.
Yeah, like sometimes I just can't be hydrated properly.
Yeah.
And I look at my watch, and my stress during my sleep is up. Like so when you do it, and I've got unlimited supply of it, so I'm never not drinking one of these a day, and I do half so that I can have another like lot of water.
Yep.
Bro, the difference that you feel and the difference I can tell when I don't have it is massive.
That's cool.
And even like we've run out in Australia and Anna's like fucking freaking out.
Get on it.
She's like,
Tom,
I need to get it. Yeah. So you are right. Like when you do it every day, you really can tell the difference.
Well, think about this. Log on to the Prospect app, head to the sponsorship zone, and get sponsored by Gypsy Juice.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's a few tiers to get that price even lower if you're a freaking dang good dirt bike racer, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's cool is Gypsy Juice and Soda Fuel is going to be alongside a lot of other great people.
Yeah,
First time GoPro
and
Michelin are ever opening a sponsorship pipeline for amateur motocross. So we have a lot of other brands, but I think those two are the most significant to me because before this, you couldn't get sponsored by GoPro. Before this, there's been no Michelin sponsorships in our sport, really. And now this will be on March 31st, it'll be the first time someone can go log on there, go look at whatever tier they qualify for at Michelin, and you're able to apply for it right then and there. And now each brand can decide whether they automatically accept you or not. So it's a lot different than MX sponsor and or Spotshile / can't think of the damn name right now, but either way, it's it's a sponsorship platform based on real metrics and real data, which I think makes it considerably different than some of the other B2C platforms that are out there.
Yeah.
So
sweet. So March 31st, that's happening.
Yeah.
Get on it.
We should go race so we can actually get some 2026 scores and see what we.
I'm gonna get me a GoPro, bro.
See what we don't qualify for.
Yeah.
We'll be like, oh wow, the 10% level's not even unlocked. But like that's what's cool about this. It's like almost like a real life video game. Like when you're in MX versus ATV
and you gotta unlock a stat.
You gotta unlock a stat. Like you can get the new bike or the new rims or the new handlebars if you just go do this, right? So cool, man. I'm gonna go race Cal Classic, and now I can unlock a 30% off Renthal handlebars. Might be pretty cool. Like it's going to incentivize people to go ride dirt bikes, which is what, again, just our baseline. And I find that so cool. It's career mode in real life.
Yeah, it's so true. So, all right, let's switch gears. Favorite productions of all time.
Oh shit.
Let's go deep. Let's spend the last hour going just deep in some
right.
of the coolest shit.
Ooh. You go first or me?
No, you go.
Well, we already talked about Dream Ride. I don't know where it's at in the stack up, but it was my first ever time to Australia, and I think that was a big moment for me. And we had a blast. Just, I'm pretty sure it was so damn hot. We were both out there in our underwear,
Literally.
and just baking in the sun, carrying around jibs, and yeah, that was really fun. And what a crazy experience! Like coming out there and staying in Cairns with you and your mom and dad, Amy and Maddie. Like it's like a whole nother family on the other side of the world. That was pretty epic experience and core memory there for me.
I think it was like the first time really moto had ever been shot with a Phantom. Like first time we like
Dude,
the whole
right.
Heli thing, you know, like getting those shots of the Heli.
You're right.
In that, like I don't think no one had ever done that. I don't think anyone had ever put no one had ever put the red in a fucking
206.
Yeah, in like a legit Heli with like the gimbal. That was before movies and all that stuff, you know.
That is crazy to think. You know why no one used the Phantom in our sport? Because you used to carry around a 60-pound camera with a generator by yourself.
Legit.
Like a Honda E3000 generator or 2000?
No, 2000, yeah.
3000?
No, 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being
Just
at Alden Baker's one time and you were carrying and a generator.
Dude,
just to power the camera.
Yeah, like I had the massive camera. We didn't have batteries for it.
Right.
And there was nowhere to put batteries on the camera.
Right.
Because they were full Hollywood set up, put it in a spot, don't
Yep.
move it, a whole crew to run it.
Yep.
Like I remember I'd go into Able Cine in LA.
Yep.
Was like they were the techs. They were where you like
Yep.
took it to do shit. And I would show them some footage and they're like, how the fuck did you do that? And I'm like, well, I had a generator and the power adapter was plugged in and I fucking looped it on my belt and I would just like run around the track.
Yeah.
They're just like, dude, that's they're like, I've never even seen someone use this without a focus puller.
And without a grip. Or multiple grips to do that. Nope, just all myself.
Well, we did. I remember that day at Alden's, we drove. I feel like we're at Carmichael's or Stu's or someone in Florida, and it was like 5 hours away. Or did we drive from Georgia? But I remember we drove all night, had a couple hours sleep, got up, took an Adderall, and just sent it all day.
Sounds about right.
Because it was War Machines
Yeah.
and some other random shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't. Did we go down there specifically to shoot War Machines? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, because I remember getting the shots of Kenny doing those whips on the finish line.
Yep.
And like that was in...
I have all that accessible griff if you want to throw some of that in now.
Fuck. Go to the War Machines trailer. Is that up there?
Yeah, I think it's on...
So that's another cool part of your career as well, is the movies that you shot. Vurbmoto.
Yeah, I've always considered myself...
Oh, that's my shot there.
Yeah.
On the cover, boy.
I've always considered myself a historian of the sport as well. So, you know, even going to Loretta's, why do I shoot it? Why do I want to go to all this amateur stuff?
You want the footage.
I want... And more for the sport. I just know no one else is doing this kind of stuff, and I would love nothing more than to be able to do this again.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like we've lost this whole culture.
Yeah.
This was 2015.
Dude, this was so good. Yeah, 15, we went to Costa Rica.
And it's the last time, maybe there was a moto movie or two after this, but no one's doing this anymore, and our sport's missing it. I mean, imagine this is Jeffrey Hurling's
peak.
Garrett Marchbank's
Dude,
on an 80. So it's just, our sport's missing this. I want to do it again. I want to be able to do it again. But like, what's the medium?
Yeah.
You can't do a DVD anymore. Like maybe I'll release it on VHS, go just full throwback. I don't know. So, you know, you'd have to do it fully on YouTube now. And just again, back to music rights, you would end up spending a shitload of money on music. So I don't really know how to do it. I've talked with the CamWorks kids about doing an amateur one more based on like the prospects that we did in 05, 06, where it's just like a compilation of all the sick AM kids. Because like if we're already going to all the races, it's easy to pick 50 AM kids over the course of the year and you just shoot them at all the big races. Then you just smash it all together. That seems a little bit more formidable to make happen versus like this is all around the world doing
Yeah.
shoots. So I don't know. Either way, I want to do this because that's so badass. I feel like our sport's just missing that. But I also think it's going to take people realizing how cool it is and actually wanting to watch it again. Because we did a platinum with Evan Ferry in 2020 when we came back, and I think the views are all right, but it's not what they used to be. So I don't know. Like, is it because people appreciate it? They don't see it. It's not discoverable. I don't know.
Why is it? Yeah.
And if it is because the attention span, is there a way to retrain that? Like, are people finally tired of Instagram and 15-second clips that they're willing to sit down and watch something for 40 minutes? I think 100 hours goes to show that if you make it, they will come.
Yeah.
So, I think y'all's strategy of 100 hours is so unique and so fun and so different that people are very interested in it. So this concept's maybe this concept works, maybe it doesn't, but obviously 100 hours does, but I would love to see if an actual moto movie could do well again.
We had an idea for this summer, but again, we're just like, this is too hard.
Yeah.
This is too hard. I would fucking love to do it, but it's too hard. No one's going to pay us for it, and my time could be better spent in other, it's just economy. Just purely comes down to economics.
Yeah. And that is sad, but it's same with me.
Yeah.
And as soon as you got, life, you start auditing days more or less. Like, hey, I can go do this and make this or stay home and golf. I often say there's a whole lot easier ways to spend money. And a lot of times that's golfing, going to the bar with my boys. I don't need to fly across the world to lose money.
Yeah.
I can do it right in my backyard and sleep in my own bed tonight. So, Barcia Platinum has to be.
Is that up there? That's one of them.
It almost has to be. I mean, we already mentioned Stu. I'm trying to think.
This was like the next level. I feel like the Barcia Platinum was what the Heli shoot could have been if you did a Heli shoot before the Heli shoot.
Well, this would have been the next echelon.
Because this was like the next level. It's like you had the Heli shoot, it worked, and you're like, oh, if we did it like this, and this is what you got.
Yep.
Full screen this shit. Bro, this is iconic.
Yeah, bringing in the cable cam. So we did this with Taylor Cogden when he was doing Moto 3, the movie, I think. And Swanberg was here with me. Jason Baker had just built this track, and he had a lift there we had to have the lift for the cable cam. And so Baker was like, hey, dude, have you ever like shot from a lift? And I'm like, no, really only just that was a lift. So Baker started doing doing the pans and jibs on the big ass lift, right? So we just started discovering this whole new dimension of shots based on being on the ground, and even that's on the lift.
Yeah.
So we would just move it around, and so we used the lift one full day, and then the next day we had the cable cam. So while the cable cam was running, that's when I was doing all the ground shots. And then this was probably, I don't want to say the last time, but we went out in Valdosta. Me and Swan went out in Valdosta the night before this was shot, and we literally shouldn't have driven to the hotel room, but we went to the hotel room, both took showers, and then had to meet everybody in the lobby to go on the shoot. And look how hot it is, bro.
Fuck.
I remember we were driving in, and I was like,
I don't think I can do this.
Dude, I was like falling asleep, and Swan's like, dude, you gotta stay awake. So I was like, and so I remember pulling in, and just the windows were fully down, and I was like, all right, we gotta get out of the car. And as soon as this magic started happening, it just
gone. This is magic.
Because it's also hard to get a rider now too that wants to invest the time. Like, hey, do it again, do it again, do it again. Everybody hates the do it again mentality in our sport now because they all work so hard. I don't blame them. But if you want to have a product like this, you got to invest the time as a rider to want to do it too. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to hit that 3 times and I'm over it. So,
yeah. So what's this look like? This is 2 full days of do it again.
This would have been 2 full days, morning and afternoon sessions. I don't know that we really shot midday. So yeah, it almost even became the formula of what we started doing. Because even when we went to Homegrown, we would have only done morning and afternoon sessions. You never really mess with morning or midday light.
Fuck, this is so good, bro.
This was like AF100 too. It's crazy since I don't shoot so much anymore. Like it'd be hard for me to be able to shoot something like this again because just how much practice it takes to be able to follow someone that tight on a tripod. You got to think how honed in I was as a shooter at this point in time in my career. I often think that, like, even if you gave me the tools right now, I don't know that I can go recreate some of the stuff that we've done just because I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
It's like when Zaca was here and he was talking about just even missing the one day of practice, he could feel himself being off. Probably the same way as shooting. Like, don't get me wrong, I could pick up a camera and shoot pretty damn well, but it is crazy what the difference is when you shoot for a month straight or 2 months straight or constant, like back. Because back in those days, we had content people, we had people running the back end of our business, all the marketing and direct, everything. My job was pretty much to go create content. So I got to focus solely on that back then. So that's what I did. So just shooting every day, like you just become that good at it.
Yeah, I remember when you first got the 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some of the focus pulls that like, and that was the shit that we used to just geek out on, dude. When I got that, like when we watched the War Machines, there was some of those shots where I could just tell it was that 600mm lens.
Yep.
It just looked like I can look at footage from that era and know all of my shots purely based on what I was using because it was different to what everybody else was using.
Well, I remember Chris Creamer and I were doing Axom when we both started flying the helicopters with Red, heavy lift helicopters way before drones were even a thing.
Yep.
So we were doing it then, and we went up and helped Clay Porter and Cameron Bard do a Cole Seeley.
That's right.
Actually pull this up. See if Cole Seeley's Zaca Station's on here because it was another paradigm change for me, which is introducing the 300. And it's also when we started flying the Red.
Was it Vurbmoto? No, it was, what was it?
I don't know. Keep scrolling down. I think it was for Shifter. Dude, no way this isn't online anymore.
Nah, it's got to be. What was it? Yeah. Fuck, I need to piss again.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Oh, it's for Red Bull.
That's right. Yeah, full screen.
So, I didn't even mean for this to be on the list, but it is. So Clay Porter was here using a 300.
And he was like the OG downhill, and all that whole sport is pulling focus as someone comes towards you.
And I didn't realize there was such an art to it and what it was. So we were here to film with a helicopter or the drone.
The drone.
And so all these drone shots, this was really the first time a drone with a Red had been used in our sport either. So I feel like we kind of broke a barrier here with that. And then you mixed it with Clay Porter's 300. It was just like a whole new paradigm of possibility in this video. Like these first shots of Cole coming around and clicking a gear in 240 on a 300. It was so badass. So anyways, I decided like a freaking 300 was $10,000, I think. And I was like, sweet, like that's
what it takes.
I'm going to go buy a 300. So then later this year we got Nate Hawley from DC was like, hey, do you guys want to do a Jeffrey Hurling's Platinum? And when he called me, that's when I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to order a 300. And I remember getting it just in time to go shoot Hurling's at MC's Ranch for Jeffrey Hurling's Platinum, which also ended up becoming right there. That's the 300. So just that crazy depth of field, that was just crazy tight.
And like just super compressed background.
Yeah. And you had to be an artist on a tripod too. You can't just throw on a 300 and spray and pray. You have to be good on the focus. You got to be good on like that.
Look at that.
You got to be good at every single part of the camera movement and focus pulling to be able to nail shots by yourself. Like so many people in the film world look at what we do as motocross people and can't believe that I heard you say it a minute ago, like that we pull focus on our own.
Oh yeah, when I took the Phantom in to get work done to it or whatever, and they'd be like, "Oh, show us what you've been shooting," and I would like this stuff here.
300 right there, dude. That is a hard ass shot to get, especially that close.
Bro, that's beautiful.
So after that, I pretty much became. I was like, I'm dedicating my life to becoming a 300 master. So I pretty much was like the whole time doing Motospy. When we'd go to Sandbox or Baker's or whatever, I'd normally be like the cinematic shooter on our crew, or either that or leave the Red in a 300 setup and have another camera on my shoulder that I'd go shoot story with in between. But I prided myself until I started having gnarly back problems in 21, and like at that point in time, I kind of scaled down the amount of weight I was carrying around full time. But you told me to bust out the 300 at Paula.
I love that lens.
It's unreal. So like I just went out there to shoot photos that day at Paula with Zaco, and I'm like, oh, this is so ungodly beautiful. So then I went up to Mesquite and I shot ended up shooting the entire day on Saturday photos because I was just like, dude, these are just so beautiful. And just getting out there and practicing again, it like gives you a whole new, again, dimension.
Yeah.
Of like, I've been using 7200 and a 16 to 35 for the past 4 years, and 100 mil focal difference in that kind of bokeh just changes. Oh, wow. Like, you can't get a bad shot, especially with how good autofocus is now.
Oh, man, it's insane, eh? Yeah, I loved that. I think it was a 400 to 600, that old ass thing that I had.
Oh, yeah. It had like it looked like a rifle.
Dude, you literally used to see if you can find Canon. I think it's 400 to 600.
100 to 600.
Or was it 100 to 600? Canon 100 to 600 lens. Go to images. It's old. Go like vintage. Maybe type in vintage.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 200 to 600.
There it is. Go down. The FD 600. Go to the right. Go to the right.
This one.
Yeah.
150.
150 to 600. There you go.
There it is.
Bro, I used to carry that. Dude, that's a bit of a different version. I think the one...
It looked pretty
It's
damn
very,
smooth.
very...
Yeah,
no,
scroll down.
It's actually... It might have been that exact one.
Dude, it was. It's that one.
How much are those things?
Let's see what it is on eBay.
Go back. There was one on eBay. Yeah, go to that one there. Is that on eBay?
No, the one to the left.
Yeah, see to the left over there? Oh, there we go. $3,000.
Wow. It probably would have been 20 when it came out.
Dude, I might just buy one.
It's pretty crazy now with RF, even versus EF, how much lighter the lenses are.
Oh, no.
Like Garth and Swan are using that. Canon has a new 100 to 500 2.8, and even they have a 100 to 300 and a 500 version, I believe. But either way, there's so much damn lighter. But now it's like $12,000, and I'm like,
I know.
Because again, we used to spend all the damn money. Like I have $100 and something thousand worth of lenses, and it's crazy. In my garage, as you know, I literally have everything.
You have a $50,000 camera just chilling in my office, holding up a lamp.
It's what you always used to call paperweights, and I always make a joke about that. Like I have a lot of really nice paperweights,
really expensive paperweights.
So, but yeah, even down to all the cine glass I have that I just don't really have purpose for anymore. Yeah, $100,000 worth of cine glass just chilling, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I use it every now and again, but
this is like, that's kind of the point I want people that are listening to this. Like, so you shot Moto Spy, the Platinums, the Homegrowns, all of these iconic imagination, all of these iconic things, and you were just so obsessed with the finished product and the quality that you would just spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on cameras and
I loved it,
dude.
I mean, I still do.
If
I could justify doing some of the spins still because there was still ROI in it, I love going. NAB's like my happy place. NAB's like this huge camera convention that happens in Vegas actually in a few weeks. It's right before my 40th birthday, and I kind of told my wife, like, what do you want to do? I'm like,
Vegas.
NAB? I took her 2 years ago. She's like, I'm never doing this again.
Because
you go up to the Canon thing or the Black Magic thing, and you're like, how does this SDI connect to this? And like, how do I get it to the cloud? And my wife's like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done with you. So she's like, I'd rather go to Loretta Lynn's with you than this. So, but yeah, I mean, I still would rather go out and buy some dope ass lenses than a car.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a nerd at heart. So like I said, I really hope that what we're doing with Prospect and Vurbmoto gets us back to the ability to do some of this stuff, because I'd love nothing more than to be a nerd again.
Yeah.
If I can get back to where we were at the Barcia Platinum era, where I get to just go do content and I don't necessarily have to work on the business dev side nearly as much as I do right now, that's a dream. I love being an entrepreneur, and I do think that's probably like my root passion and love. I love basically like roller coaster tycoon. You got to build your freaking theme park and get people to come to it. Like that's really, really, really fun. But having the outlet of creativity is also really fun. Watching that Zaca Station video is just like, bro, you probably remember this about me. I was the sunrise king.
Oh.
And everybody hated that, especially when we were drinking beers. And I don't know how we did it, but I'd be like, cool, man, sunrise at freaking 5:30, so we'll be there at 5. So I used to not miss the sunrise shot. I don't know that I care quite so much anymore, but I don't know. I love freaking shooting dirt bikes, especially with cool shit. So
Oh yeah.
I still stay pretty cutting edge. Like I still have the Canon C400. Like a new camera comes out or a new drone comes out, I still can't help myself. I don't do like the lens investments anymore because the lenses that we buy are normally 10 or 15 a pop.
Yeah.
And like, can anybody, especially on Instagram, tell the difference between a $3,000 2.8 Canon L series versus a
Yeah. A cine lens? Probably
lens?
not.
No.
Can you pull up Homegrown? This was my last hurrah.
Yeah.
This was my retirement.
All right. Well, if we're gonna go in order, I think 1, 2.
All right.
I don't. Who knows? I would say let's backtrack a second. Epic was probably another big game changer for me, and then Homegrown. This Homegrown one changed.
Let's go to Epic. Type in Vurbmoto.
Well, here, let's talk about this one. You asked top 5. I don't know where any of these land, but this was definitely huge for us.
So what made this project? There we go. Phantom shot.
That's you.
On that same lens.
That's you.
I was in my prime, bro. Go back.
Yeah.
I want to watch that shot again.
It's a good shot.
I was in my prime. What happened to me? This is that 600mm lens.
And Greg White on the Color Pearl Street post, just crushing that color.
See, that just makes me horny. That's why I got out of bed. I just wanted that
exactly.
every day.
It made us all horny. Look, the sunrise corn shots. Like, who's getting sunrise corn shots? Keith White on the sound.
Goosebumps.
I think me and you wrote this VO together, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what was cool about this is how many times this project shouldn't have worked. There was multiple times that we flew all the way out to Kansas to build the track because we had to build the track before the corn.
Yeah.
And it got full on rained out
Which
twice.
never happens.
Never happens. And so then we started getting to we got to the last shot. And I think Red Bull kept saying, all right, let's go again. Because every time we went out there, Baker's whole crew, our whole film crew, I'm sure there was a certain level of investment that we made as well. Not, I don't remember how much money that the ones that didn't work, I don't remember how much those cost, but it would have cost something. Cool. We sat there for a whole week. I'm still paying everybody. Baker's still paying everybody. So maybe me and him did it for the love of it. But we got to the last time, like, hey, if it doesn't work, there's not even going to be enough time for the corn to grow.
Yeah.
And especially with all this rain that's happened already, will the dirt take? Is it too soggy? Are we going to get...
You had to learn how to be a corn farmer.
So thank God Adam LaRoche, whose property this was, his whole family's farmers. So he's literally the one that helped us plant the corn. So yeah, finally, the third time we went out, perfect weather. We ended up getting to build the damn track. Adam had figured out some type of corn with the right strand that didn't need the amount of, it was real. It's not nutritious corn. It was corn meant for deer. I don't remember it, but it's some special strain of corn that he had found that could grow in the amount of time that we needed, and it would even as tall as it is, because most corn stalks aren't this tall. So it was a very specific corn that he ended up finding, and then we planted it, and then the rain came. It was just one of those things that wasn't meant to be that turned into meant to be. It shouldn't have worked.
And this is just watching this now, I haven't watched it in so long. I mean,
it's unreal.
This just doesn't exist.
Think about the amount of money Red Bull would have spent on this.
Fuck, it's so sick. I remember this. I remember setting up these lights right behind that wall. There's a whole party going on.
Yep.
So the cool thing about this, that literally started Gypsy Tales too.
Yeah.
Which people probably, I don't know how much I've said about that, but so Jeremy literally says, so there's VO the whole way through it. And his whole idea, I feel like this was a play to also get me to just do a podcast. But he was like, all right, I need you to go get podcast equipment. We're going to set up a podcast, and then we're going to pull quotes out of this for the VO in case the VO doesn't work with Dungey. He's not the best with the VO.
Yep.
So I literally drive with Hurley in the fucking rental car.
That is right. Yep.
To go to Guitar Center
with my credit card.
Yeah, to buy all this podcast shit for this shoot. And then
I remember you caught, I think it was like $8,000 worth of shit, wasn't
nah,
it?
it wasn't that much.
No?
Nah, it was probably like $3,000, I reckon.
Okay.
I think it was like $3,000.
Maybe so. I don't remember.
But and then we take it back, we set it up, and we do a podcast, and that was literally my first ever podcast. Was there with Adam LaRoche,
and it's still on
Ryan
Gypsy,
Dungey.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've released it as like the 3rd episode of the podcast or something.
Wow.
And then after that is when I wasn't allowed back in America.
Yep.
So I had plans to just like keep on being the film guy with the film career and the whatever, and it didn't work. And then I did this instead. I don't know whether it's on.
Dude, how crazy. I don't know that I've ever watched those early ones, man. That is crazy.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know that.
Type in Adam LaRoche.
Yeah, but I think that Red Bull, I don't think it was able to go up on YouTube because Red Bull flagged it or something. Is it on the other channel maybe? Yeah, it'd be in the YouTube studio probably. But yeah, so that was meaningful for me in a ton of ways because that started the podcast.
Wow.
And yeah, that's literally the last big production that I ever worked on as a filmer.
How crazy, dude.
Yeah.
17, into 17.
Yeah.
Dungey's retirement was yours too.
literally.
Little did we know.
Yeah. And then, no, we can't find it.
Yeah, because what? You would have flown home right after that and then tried to come back because we were working on straight rhythm content.
Yeah.
Right
No, I
after.
did straight rhythm. We did the live
stream.
podcast at
So
straight rhythm.
that's when we ended up spending the more money when you called and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
we want to buy all this live stream stuff," and that's right. We ended up spending $8,000 more on all the live stream stuff.
Yeah. That got lost in a fire, by the way. That's now a pile of ashes. So yeah, that was like a massive change as well.
Wow.
I am one of the people lucky enough to say that motorcycles has given me everything. This is my dad, Pete. Like so many of you watching, I was given this love of two wheels by my father. My job has taken me to the other side of the world, which means riding together has become a much tougher task. This is where Destination Yamaha comes in. I flew Pete to the US for the last round of Supercross in Salt Lake City and told him to pack a helmet. I logged on to destinationyamaha.com, picked the state and the type of bikes we wanted to ride, and landed on a 2-day trip with Grit Moto Adventures on the T700. This is the ultimate arrive and ride experience, and we spent 2 days riding hundreds of miles in the Utah backcountry.
It is unreal, amazing, beautiful part of the world.
Winding dirt roads, through picturesque national parks, challenging climbs, and after over 50 years on two wheels, Pete finally got to ride through snow. These 2 days riding gave us more two-wheel memories that we'll never forget. They say it's about the journey, not the destination. And there is truth to that. But in this case, it was also about the destination. Destination Yamaha. Go to there's a behind the scenes Homegrown edit. That is pretty cool.
So where
as
would
well.
where would the podcast have ended up?
It's on iTunes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely on iTunes. Yeah, behind the scenes. Because I know you guys made a behind the scenes,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so this would give people like a bit of an idea into the actual
How
shoot
crazy?
itself.
Only 141,000.
I know.
I would love to now. It's crazy that I've literally been looking at all this footage because we've been building Jason Baker Dream Tracks demo reel, and the amount of footage that we didn't use. It would be so much fun to go back and make a full-on retrospective with you and him about, because I have all the rain out footage, and then I have literally weeks on end of footage of them actually building.
So this is the build here. Full screen at Griff? God, isn't he just an animal? So that's what it started.
Yeah.
Originally, we were talking about doing a big rectangle. I think it would maybe be.
So that's Adam. He used to play professional baseball, and Jason flew out and built him a track a year before this. he had found the Justin Barcia Platinum and said, whoever built that track, I want to build me a track. So we found Jason. And Jason built him this dope-ass track, you remember, beside his real house?
Yeah.
So it had like motocross, a woods loop, and kind of a GP section. It was so much fun. So Red Bull wanted to do this, and it was supposed to be like a Minnesota Midwest project for Red Bull money. And Jase, you know, who's going to let us use their land and grow corn and all that without charging us $1 million? And Jason's like, I might have just the guy.
I have a guy that's already got too much money.
So he called Adam LaRoche, and Adam's like, come on out, boys. And so what's crazy, I came out here for the site visit, and Jason showed me 3 different places he had located. And you remember how big the place was. Did you ever go? Yeah, you went to Imagination. So the very first spot Jason showed me was the Imagination spot. And I was like, man, yeah, whatever. I remember some pros and cons to it. And then he showed us this, and just because it was flat and everything. And we ended up choosing this location, obviously. But Baker from day one was that other spot. I know something special that we could do. And I was like, why? And he's like, because of the elevation dip, the things I'd be able to build. And of course, I'm a filmer. I don't really understand the way his brain works. But obviously, you look at what Imagination became, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, so this is after 3 months. And then they'd go disc the track so that the corn stayed off the track.
Yeah.
We had these little like filming lanes and water truck lanes. Who was the rider that was test jumping the jumps?
Sean Rife.
Yeah, because Dunge didn't even want to jump the doubles.
Like that one, remember? He was like, yeah, so Sean pulled him over that and the other whack-a-mole jump.
Did you see any of it coming in?
You know, I've seen pictures.
You know what I find crazy about this? Dunge was here for 2 days, and that's all we got. And there was one of the days, remember, it was like crazy overcast.
Oh, look at this. Oh, fuck. That was so close, too. Watch him tuck his elbow in.
No stress, nothing to worry about, just me and the dirt bike.
Yeah, this is.
Look, there's Will Posey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I even rented that.
Oh, you did have that big cine lens for that.
Yeah.
I think after all said and done, career and everything, it's a good way to
And this was cool too because I'd never seen Dunge in this vibe. You know, I'd always shot with him for when we were doing Red Bull projects and all that, and he was so tense and so tight and just the most unfun, serious person. And then that vibe just like went out to everybody.
Yeah.
Made Marv like that. It made Alden like that. And then you get him into the, like, look at him smiling, and it was just like a completely different dude.
I wish it was awesome. I just wish that we had spent more time just knowing what that became and what we could have done. Like, I feel like we barely scratched the surface of what we could have done there. You know, we basically went to every section and got 15 minutes on each section.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what we could have done had it just been like, Dunge, come here for a week.
Yeah.
Drink Coors Lights with
Lock
us.
in.
And let's just do this, dude.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember why we only had 2 days, but it was literally 2 days and only this 2 days. And I mean, it probably all came down to budget, this, that, and the other. But I mean, I don't know. I would have, I would have spent 2 weeks there if we could have.
And then this turned into Imagination.
Yep. More or less. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that this.
But when Imagination came up, we got the perfect place.
Yeah.
We got the land.
Yeah.
We got like.
Shout out Adam.
Yeah. We're going to go to the same barn.
Yep.
We're going to do,
Same barn.
just insane what that place has actually done for the sport.
Yeah. And little do people know that. Well, people that are very ingrained in the sport and probably know, but if it weren't for Adam, none of this would ever happen. And if it weren't for the Justin Barcia Platinum and Adam seeing that, I just remember going there for the site visit and meeting Adam. I was like, how'd you find this? He's like, I watched the Justin Barcia Platinum, and I was like, you watched the Barcia Platinum? And it's crazy. Even running into like famous people these days, if anybody's ever seen motocross, somehow they've seen the Barcia Platinum. Like,
how many views did that get?
I don't know. It's really not that many for how popular I feel like it is.
Yeah.
1 million something maybe?
Yeah.
1,300,000?
But that's like a solid video.
Yeah. I mean, for back then, I don't know. I remember I was at Disney World when the video came out, and I remember on Vurb, it got like 4,000 like Facebook likes on our website within like 30 minutes. And then like just watching it go, I still have screenshots from it going from like 60,000 to 100,000. It was definitely our most watched video ever in that like 24-hour period. I think it got to like 300,000 in 24 hours or something. And like at the time, even now, that would be mind-boggling amount of views.
Yeah.
So especially on YouTube. I mean, that's not like some crazy stat for Instagram necessarily, but for YouTube, pretty unreal.
Yeah. What else stands out?
So I was gonna say epic. It was that's it. That's all after that came out. I wanted to spend.
Oh, you had the lettuce adapter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then even going back to the
Vurbmoto.
book that they did, the soundtrack, everything. So when I say I don't know where the money came from to buy a red, all my money that I had ever made up to this point, I put into this movie. I put like the packaging for the movie was like 30 grand. The music was like 60. And then luckily we were doing like Racer X Motocross show that year that pretty much paid for us to piggyback all the shoots. So I think we shot it for next to nothing. So I spent 60 or 70, 100 grand, whatever, on all the rest of the kit and caboodle. So when I made all my money back from this movie, I just put it in a bank account. So that way I remember the year before Red was teasing that the thing with Red was coming out, and you had to get on a wait list. So they like made you FOMO it hard. And I like registered on the wait list and I got accepted. So what was I going to do at that point in time?
Yeah.
Spend the money.
Yeah.
Not everybody could get a Red, and I had one. So
Yeah, and even that I think led to people taking you more seriously in like the production world
100%.
too, you know.
Yeah, I mean if you can afford freaking 100 grand worth of equipment, then you've
got a certain price tag that you can charge for your videos.
And like even doing this, man, like busting out dollies and jibs, and I mean, me and Walt were building PVC freaking crazy dumb shit and lead us adapters, like you said. Like Walt had a jib that we're using in California. We wrapped a helicopter. My best friend Chris Creamer flying that thing 3 foot off the ground, idiotic as hell. And then just because I'd been so ingrained in snowboard movies or even moto movies, dude, I still to this day listen to Miniware's 2, 3, 4 soundtracks all the time. Still Roots soundtrack on Spotify.
Fuck, you went to the Tomac Ranch in this?
So I really wanted to make this a soundtrack because I partied a lot.
That you could listen to.
I wanted this to be, you put this DVD in at a party, and you could just turn it on freaking surround sound. That was like my goal with the soundtrack. And that, to this day, dude, I still get messages that I reply to about people being like, man, the soundtrack of Epic still lives in infamy. And I'm like, that's what it was meant to be.
That's what I was after. How much did you spend on that? The soundtrack, you reckon?
At least 60.
60 grand?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That, I think 60 for the music license, like another 10 to have it all cleared through Go Big Entertainment back then, I think, if I remember correctly. Because, like, to get major labels, so we ended up getting, like, MGMT.
That's right.
Shiny Toy Guns. Portugal the Man was for War Machine. So a major label song was 10 grand, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We did 3 or 4 major labels, and then you kind of supplement that with like some indie stuff that you're able to get for $3,000 a pop or something, and then you then supplement that with some like that beat was from EGADS. I bet it was like 500 or 1,000, but music adds up quick, even 13 or 14 segments.
Yeah.
So, and then, oh yeah, shout out Volcom. Like that, Volcom was like so badass back then. So we had to deal with Volcom Entertainment. So they were able to give us, I remember a handful of songs that ended up in here were from Volcom. Troy Eckert and Troy Powell back then, Volcom OGs, helped us out big with the music on a few Volcom songs. So I don't know. It was like one of those things. I had some, from years of work, I had 60, 70, 80 grand, whatever it was. And I was like, sweet, the packaging's 30, the music's another 60 or 70, all in. But like, I was so confident that this movie, I thought I was going to make $1 million on this movie. I didn't. I think I probably ended up making 120, 150 or something. So it was still, especially for that time, good ROI, but not what I thought. I thought
this is it.
This
is my year.
Thought it was it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But going back to the historian part of me, how cool is it that does exist? And I would love, there's so many sick AM kids or even pro dudes now that like if they would commit the time to doing this, it would be so much fun. If I could commit, hey babe, do you mind if I go to South Georgia for a week? She'd be like, how much money are you making? I'd be like, none.
Yeah. Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure. Do you think, honey?
So there's 4. Imagination has to be another one that definitely set the tone of just craziness, but like not necessarily because of me or the progress that we're making at that time. It was the athletes. Baker finally being able to find a platform to push a dude like Behrman or Axel or Colby Raha.
Like to their limit.
Holy shit, in a safe way too. So I don't know. Me as a filmer, that was probably the top pinnacle of like just holy shit. I can't believe I'm the one that got hired to film this. I don't know that there was anything necessarily about imagination that I was pushing the boundaries of what we were able to do anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like imagination was when you guys got the tentacles and the audio and the storytelling and I think the way that you guys did definitely push the limits then of the production.
Yeah, you're right.
In a way that is not many people would tell, but if you know, you know. Well, like you had 32-bit float audio coming through GoPros. And everyone could just talk at any time. All the audio was synced.
Without 17 sound dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were able to shoot and snipe from 20 different cameras. I think on competition day, 24 people mic'd up without one sound dude. Now, I think we might have had sound dudes as redundant audio, perhaps, but once we realized how good
they were,
how good it was in our system that we figured out, it also changed the game for MotoSpy.
Yep.
It allowed us to go to races and just freaking mic up mechanics, and now you're shooting a mile away, and you're not worried about RF interference. Because remember, even us doing MotoSpy at Daytona with George Smith and Alex Martin in 17, Bluetooth mics had just come out, and that's basically what DJI mics are now. And you're supposed to be this.
We had so much problems with mics that time. We lost a bunch of audio because of that.
Well, you used to no matter what, because you used to do RF. So when this whole Bluetooth thing came out, you're like, sweet, it's an unbreakable bond. Well, go test that at Daytona Motor Speedway with next to an airport and 4,000 audio signals and Bluetooth signals. There was never a great solution. And I mean, Tentacle still isn't a perfect solution unless you buy like $7,000 Electrosonic mics where they record internally and broadcast. There's still not a perfect solution, but we find the best of all worlds of budget versus balance versus tech. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Imagination allowed us to put a lot of theory into motion.
Yeah. I just feel like at every stage, I mean, you've been so ahead and pushing boundaries. Like, dude, and again, so much of what I've done just comes from, I just call you and I'm like, how the fuck do I do this? And then you fix the workflow because you've always done the work. But even back in the day when you were doing the Racer X motocross show, like the Loretta's show, like there's just so much stuff that you've done that no one else did before. Yeah. And you figured out a way to do it. And that's why you got the jobs that you did. And that's why you progressed the way that you did. Like the whole motocross show thing in the early 2000 or late 2000.
Mid. So you know what? That if I had to pick number 5, MX Sports Center 2005. Same day shows from Loretta Lynn's. They didn't ever even allow anybody to video there before then, really. So Kevin Kelly and David Eiser called me with this idea. Said, "Hey, could you turn around same day shows?" Same thing.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Figure it out. So yeah, me and Crutchfield and Justin Odom, Rob Switek sat in my van and just edited all day, all night. Sat there and captured tape. You had to shoot real time.
Yep.
And then you'd come back 3 or 4 well, probably not 3 or 4, probably 2 or 3 at that time. Come back, capture all the tape, so you don't even start editing till midnight. And then you had to, then you sat there and edited as fast as you could, and then you had to export to Windows Media Player, because no such thing as YouTube. And then Brian Johnson would then drive, I'd give him a freaking 200 megabyte 10-minute show file. He would drive an hour and a half into Dickinson or what was the town? Either way, it was like an hour and a half to go find dial-up internet back then. He'd sit there, 6-7 hours to upload a 200 megabyte file that you could do instantaneously now.
Literally instantaneously.
And then it'd be like messenger pigeon, dude. I have no idea if he got it up. I don't know that I cared. We were shooting the next show and editing the next show. But yeah, he'd come back at 5 o'clock that day. Cool, guys, shows up. But think about the technology wasn't ready for what we were doing. There was no such thing as turn and burn editing. And we figured out turn and burn editing. unreal. So, and because of that, we started doing work with Racer X that got us in with AMA. We started, just so many little small things that kept adding up. So next year we did MX Sports Center that led into the Racer X Motocross show. Jeremy from Red Bull that probably doesn't discover us if we didn't do Red Bull Motocross show, which allowed us to do Vurbmoto. Because Jeremy called us to start doing the AM videos for MySpace. So
MySpace.
So many of these things are just like the next thing doesn't happen without the thing before it. So
Yeah. And
unreal.
it's just that incremental progress.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to just push your own boundaries every time, because you can just go through your whole career and the first thing leads to the second thing to the next, and then you're here,
That's a good point. Going back to even Vurb shutting down, I talked about the complacency. I'm great friends with Adam Patterson and Clint Wilkinson and Andrew Campo. That so many years, those were my partners at Vurb, and Brent Stallo as well, who I'm still partners with Vurb. But the other three guys do their own thing now. But I had so much angst and resentment for them for years on end after Vurb shut down, because it was my baby. I'd worked my entire life to get there, and I look back now and it's a silver lining, because if Vurb didn't shut down, I wouldn't have gone and pushed my boundaries of production and learning how to build TV shows or Motospy or whatever it was to the degree I did. So now that we've come full circle to bringing Vurb back, and same with Brent, he went and ran a software company and he learned how to run a business, and so did I. And I think that was really what we were missing on Vurb the first time around. So when we started Vurb back this time, we run it as a business, not 7 dudes in a motorhome eating peanut butter and jelly, because you make a lot different decisions based on those two things. Like the first iteration, we had nothing to lose, and it's almost like this time we have everything to lose. So very similar mindsets, but different strategy.
Yeah, different end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this was awesome.
Yeah.
If you listen to this right now, please go and download the Prospect app. This won't be Wes's last time on the pod. We'll get him back on at some point, because there is just a trillion things we could talk about over the years. But
we can nerd out on a lot of videos. That week we barely broke the surface on some really cool videos. Hey, I will say this before we go. A few weeks ago when we were hanging out with Griff, I didn't realize he was the motorcycle encyclopedia that he was. And I started playing the numbers game with him, which I do with guys like Chris Johnson or Eli Moore or Jimmy Albertson. Just throw out a number like 92. That's an easy one, but you'd be like, if I say 92, who is it?
AC.
Yeah, there you go. So, you just play this like numbers game.
88.
Brody Coltley.
Brock Sellards.
All right, Max Tannenbaum for me.
Okay.
So, but either way, Griff, I started throwing out. He mentioned Vurb videos, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's why I know so and so." I didn't realize he would also grow up on Vurb videos, which I thought was really freaking cool. And so I started playing the numbers games with him, and I threw out a few numbers, and he knew them. I was like, throwing out like
way.
2013, like Luke Rinsland and stuff like that. I was like, no way he's gonna know this. And he's like, Luke Rinsland. I'm like, okay, all right. Jimmy D. I'm like, all right, dude, you're legit.
Perfect mix of motocross and autism, our little group.
It's pretty cool though, like how you mentioned just you grew up on Vurb and then Vurb became part of your life. Like it was cool for me to hear someone that I didn't even know had any connection to me necessarily outside of our relationship. To say he grew up on that, like it meant a lot to me. It's like very humbling and very cool that so many people grew up on Vurb, and it was like what Mini Warriors 2 was to me, Vurbmoto was to so many other people. So
yeah, and you're so busy and you're so grinding and you're progressing, and yeah, I just don't think sometimes you take stock of like what you did for the industry, and like even back to what I said before, like Vurb gave me the inspiration to do my first thing, which led to the second thing, which ultimately led me to here. And it's like that's such a positive impact that you guys had on the industry and the sport and so many people. So
well, luckily I get to say this is just the beginning. This is we're turning the page to the next chapter, and I truly believe the Prospect app will change our sport forever. So, and I'm not saying that lightheartedly. The technology and where we're at in life and where our sport's at, I think we're about to see a lot of growth because of what this technology is going to do for us.
And you're saying this as a guy that's already changed the sport before. So you knew what it took once, and
I like to think that, but as you said, it takes time for people to realize that. And I do remember even when we started Vurb, we came out here, well, not me, Campo and Brent did, went and told everybody, hey, we're going to start this online magazine. Is basically what we're calling it back then. So we were laughed out of offices. That's never going to work. Doubt me once.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, get on for the ride or don't. It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's going to work.
Well, everybody that's listening, download the Prospect app, get amongst it. Thanks, Wes, for doing this. And
Good catching up, dude.
You're my boy, bro.
As we catch up all the time.
I know,
though.
we see each other all the time, but we've been wanting to do this for a while.
So see you guys at ramen later.
Done.
499.
Oh, let's go.
See you, boys and girls.
Done. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.